So at this point, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. It is the most viewed video in my channel's history by a lot. Resetting the NFL to 2010 and resimulating the decade with draft classes for every year and seeing what type of crazy things happened. Well, that was the biggest undertaking at the time. So much work went into that video a month beforehand, but this will be one-upping that. This will be an epic like no other. This will be super long probably, but I have reset the year to 2002. And the main focus of this video will be finding out whether or not Tom Brady relives that success that he found with Bill Belichick and the dynasty that the Patriots created. This is the Chiefs. I'll go over every team briefly at least. But Tom Brady at this point in time had never gone to a Super Bowl. This would be the first year that he would go. I think they played the Panthers in 2002. Am I right about that? No, I'm not. That was the second Super Bowl that Tom Brady was in. The first one was against the greatest show on turf Rams, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. You know, those really, really good teams. But check out this Patriots team. Tom Brady is an 86 overall. It's pretty good. He's only 25 and he's black. Whoa, okay, okay. So I don't know what the issue is with and first of all, maybe Tom Brady could be black. That's fine. You know, I'm progressive enough to believe that. But that makes no sense what I just said. Anyway, like, it has the face right. I downloaded this roster, but clearly in game the player model doesn't exactly match up. But as you can see, this is a recreation of Tom Brady at 25 years old. It is his picture, but this is not 45-year-old Tom Brady. This is nearly 20 years ago. Let's do a quick scan of the teams. Very quickly, you can use code Bengal on SeatGeek, SEATGEEK. Find it in the App Store. Whenever you're buying tickets for anything, use code Bengal, you'll save $20. I'm not saying go out of your way, right? But if you're gonna go to a baseball game, football game, basketball, concert, anywhere that you're gonna buy a ticket for, if you're going to already, use code Bengal and save yourself some money. Why not? So this is a really long time ago. I can understand you guys not remembering some of these guys, because this is before the Bears got really good with like Lance Briggs and some other big pieces, Charles Tillman. But the Bears might not ever get those guys. They got Brian Urlacher. Let's see his complexion. All right, one matches a little bit better than Tom Brady. The Bengals have Lorenzo Neal as their highest rated player, Corey Dillon, who was pretty good with the Patriots for a bit, Willie Anderson, Takeo Spikes. And even look at this, Justin Smith. Before Justin Smith ended up being a beast with the 49ers, Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson before he became Ochocinco and then back to Johnson. The Bills had Drew Bledsoe, just came from the Patriots, London Fletcher, Reuben Brown, Eric Moulds, Antoine Winfield Sr., Nate Clements. The Broncos, of course, with one of the best late-round picks ever in Rod Smith, older Shannon Sharp. They have Jason Elam, who had the longest kick ever before Matt Prater took it, and then Justin Tucker, of course, took it this year. Trevor Price was pretty good. Clinton Portis before he went to Washington and became really good. Young Clinton Portis at just 21 years old, who was Miami, not Miami of Ohio, but get over that real quick. It's pretty irrelevant. Texas legend Phil Dawson, not being 40 years old, but yeah, not a ton of talent on the Browns. Who's the best actual player on this team long term? You know, it is probably Phil Dawson. Maybe it's Sean O'Hara. He was a multiple-time Pro Bowler with the Giants, but not a ton of talent here. The Buccaneers, of course, with Rondé, Mike Allstott, John Lynch, Derek Brooks. I mean, this is a Super Bowl team. They would go on to play the Raiders, right, the next year. So this was a really, really good Bucs team. And Warren Sapp, Keyshawn, Simeon Rice, like some really, really good players in the Bucs. Cardinals with Adrian Wilson, one of my favorite players all time. Beast safety for the Cardinals back in the day. I guess really, not back in the day, but like probably 15 years ago now. David Boston, who was kind of like a 1 or 2 year wonder. That was amazing, but I think he took a ton of steroids. The Chargers, of course, with young LaDainian Tomlinson, Junior Seau, RIP, Rodney Harrison, Drew Brees before he went to the Saints. He's only 23 years old. Unbelievable. Donnie Edwards was pretty good. Marcellus Wiley, who is more of a media personality than a player. The Chiefs, of course, with Tony G at only 26 years old. Will Shields, Willie Roaf, great offensive team. Texas legend Priest Holmes, even though he went undrafted. Brian Waters. Prolific offense. The defense on this team, horribly bad. The Colts had Marvin Harrison, young Peyton Manning, the edge, Edger James. Why is everyone from Miami of Ohio? Why did they not bother to check that? I guess I could have, but it doesn't impact much. Jeff Saturday, like crazy. Reggie Wayne when he was only 23. This stupid kicker, Mike Vanderjagt, if you remember the Peyton Manning quote. Cowboys were really good at this time too. Or at least becoming or getting off of when they were really good. Because they were so dominant in the 90s. Larry Allen, one of the best offensive linemen ever. They're still holding on to Emmitt Smith, Darren Woodson. Like some of their best players are getting quite old at this point or just retired. The Dolphins with Sam Madison, Zach Thomas, who could end up being a Hall of Famer, Jason Taylor, Patrick Surtain Sr., some really good players. Ancient Chris Carter at this point. My guy Ricky out of Texas. Is he star dev? Normal dev for Ricky with the Dolphins. I might change that. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to change it. Ricky deserves star. You know what? Ricky was an all-pro in 2002, led the league in rushing yards. I'm going to give him superstar, actually. Maybe that's a little Texas bias because he didn't go off up to that point. He was just pretty good. Could be star, but you know what? He was amazing that year. So I'm going to try to get him to develop. Brian Dawkins, some really great Eagles. Donovan McNabb, Troy Vincent, Trey Thomas, David Akers, one of the best kickers in the league for a while. Al Harris, the Falcons, of course. Michael Vick. What if Michael Vick never decided that having dogs kill each other was a good idea? I understand the whole background. It is a really crappy thing that he did, but Michael Vick was so fun to watch. He was one of my favorite players in the league at the time, and I kind of just lost a little bit of interest after the whole dogfighting fiasco. Warwick Dunn was in here. In the last video where I reset the NFL to 2010, I made so many jokes about legal situations, and I just haven't seen a ton of names to do that with yet. Ancient Bruce Smith was on this Washington team, of course. My second favorite player of all time, Roland Champ Bailey, before he got traded to the Broncos. That was a Clinton Portis trade. What if that trade never happened? Probably wouldn't like Champ Bailey nearly as much. They gave Jesse Armstead superstar dev. One of the best Giants of the 90s, but is he really superstar at this point in the league? I mean, definitely not. He's another Miami guy, and this guy's like, oh, Miami of Ohio, that must be it. No, that's not where they all went. The Miami of Ohio didn't have a powerhouse in the early 2000s. But I will say, though, this roster is incredibly detailed otherwise and really, really good. Should be a lot of fun. T.O., before he went to the Cowboys and Eagles, he was a monster at this point in time. You remember him with the Catch 3, I want to say. No, the Catch 2 for the Niners in the playoffs. Jeff Garcia, Bryant Young. I mean, Jerry Rice would still be in the league at this point. Even Garrison Hurst was really good. Dana Stubblefield won a Rookie of the Year. Now, where's Jerry Rice in 2002? I want to say with the Raiders. We'll get there. The Giants, of course, had Michael Strahan, Kerry Collins. Tiki Barber hadn't, of course, drafted Eli Manning up to this point. This was a really bad Giants team that was only going to get worse. The Jags, Jimmy Smith, one of the more underrated players, I think, of the 2000s and late 90s. He was really, really good. He does have some DUI stuff, if I recall correctly. So that's no good. Don't want to be doing that. But he was amazing into his mid-30s. It was crazy. Fred Taylor was a monster. John Henderson, too. Not a great Jags team, though, and they wouldn't really get a whole lot better. Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawai, John Abraham being super young. I mean, of course, all these guys that we know to be like older legends in the league are going to be very young at this point. So I'm going to keep saying it because it's odd to see like Tom Brady be 25. Sean Rogers, hook 'em horns. He wasn't all that great in the league, but he was a decent player. Again, not a good Lions team, and things would not get better for them. Brett Favre, and it's spelled correctly. Again, the complexion seems slightly off. The reason I can't change it is because I think it's going to change the face. So I don't want it to change the face on the player model here. So it's just a tough situation. Darren Sharper gave me a lot of opportunities in the last one. I don't know if you guys know about Darren Sharper. You probably remember hardest hitting safety in the league, though. Well, man, He was equally feared off the field. Did some very bad things. You can look into that. Amon Green, Donald Driver. Pretty fun Packers team. And this team would, of course, get better. Kabir Gbajabiamila was actually real good in the league. He had multiple, like, double-digit sack seasons. The Panthers were about to get real good. They had super young Steve Smith. Chris Jenkins, who used to be real good, of course, with the Jets as well. Muhsin Muhammad, very young Julius Peppers. Wonder what his depth trade is. It's got to be at least superstar. Julius Peppers is one of the best players ever at his position, really. He is a monster, played forever, played a number of different positions, whether it was off-ball linebacker or on the ball. Julius Peppers was awesome. The Patriots, talked about them a bit earlier, but Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Tom Brady, Richard Seymour at only 22 years old, Damian Woody, I think he's on, is he on First Take? I want to say he is. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. Willie McGinnis holds the record for playoff sacks, which is just having the opportunity to get those is going to help out with that. The Raiders had ancient Rod Woodson, also very young Charles Woodson, one of the only Heisman winners of all time to actually play defense predominantly. He's the only one, but there are some other players to play a little bit of defense. But Charles Woodson, primary corner, did play some offense as well that year. But yeah, only defensive player to ever win the Heisman. Rich Gannon, very much not looking like what Rich Gannon looked like. You know, he was an MVP this year. I think he was. Yeah. Yes, Rich Gannon, 2002 MVP. I will be able to change his complexion since he has no face scan that's in the game. That'll make that look a little bit better. But this Raiders team was quite good. I mean, this was when he who shall not be named was the coach. John Gruden, Tim Brown. Yeah, this is where Jerry Rice is. Again, ancient, but still pretty good. This Raiders team might make some noise in this first year sim. Sebastian Janikowski, first round pick of the Raiders. What were they doing? Yeah, greatest show on surf. Marshall Faulk, Orlando Pace, one of the best tackles ever. Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner, Aeneas Williams, Torrey Holt. Very, very good team. Jonathan Ogden leads a very good Ravens team along with Ray Lewis. And of course, anytime you have a killer up the middle on your defense, you're going to have a pretty good team. Killer. Okay, hold on. You might be asking yourself, Bengal, how is murder funny? And to that I say, watch. No, murder is not funny, obviously, unless it is. I don't know why it is, because people died, but also he wasn't convicted, but also he did that shit. Super young Ed Reed. Yeah. Oh my God. I am going to have nightmares forever. What is going on? I don't like anything about it. Get me out of there. I've just got chills after that. I'm not gonna be okay. The Saints had Joe Horn, whose college might not even be in the game, by the way. He went to a really, really small school. Yeah, Itawamba in Mississippi. So there you go. Got Deuce. Not a great Saints team, but they would get better in real life. We'll see what happens in the game. Pretty good Seahawks team around this time. Of course, it's Sean Alexander, who would end up being the MVP of the league in just a couple of years. Walter Jones was a beast. Ancient John Randall. I'm afraid to click on any of the players with face scans in this, just because I don't know what I'm gonna see. This one's definitely not as funny as the last video. There's just, I mean, am I just gonna overdo the same jokes? And there aren't the same players with the legal issues I can joke about. A little bit frustrating, honestly, from a content creation perspective, but Steelers were real good too. Hines Ward, Alan Faneca. Jason Gilden, pretty underrated. I feel like you probably don't credit him with being as good as he was. Joey Porter ended up being a monster. Another really fun player. Signed a huge deal with Miami later. The Bus, Jerome Bettis. Texas legend Casey Hampton. Passed over him. James Farrier ended up being quite good, of course. The Texans with Aaron Glenn as their highest overall player. Again, very, 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 very bad Texans team, because this was the first year the Texans were a team. This is actually probably a better rated team than they should be, but they do suck real bad. Jabbar Gaffney. Does he still have more time or more all-time receiving yards than Julian Edelman. Hall of Famer Julian Edelman has 6,822 yards and 36 touchdowns. And Jabbar Gaffney has 5,690 yards and 24 touchdowns. So another year or two from Edelman took him over the top. That was true through the end of 2018, though. But, yeah, he has more yards than Jabbar Gaffney now. I think both of them should be in the Hall of Fame, personally. But Steve McNair, really great quarterback from Alcorn State, HBCU, and was a beast, RIP. Eddie George was really good too, but it's a little bit past his prime. The Freak, Javon Curse, has the all-time rookie sack record still, I want to say. Samari Roll, who ended up quitting football to become a doctor. I think a brain surgeon, I want to say. Randy Moss was only 25, still on the Vikings at this point. Yeah, Randy Moss was pretty good. And the attributes, I think, matched that as well. Gary Anderson. Listen, if anyone would ever kick a field goal and have it be successful, it'd be Gary Anderson. This guy would never be perfect through an entire season and then miss a big one. That certainly wouldn't be the case. Dante Culpepper, who was kind of carried by this receiving core a bit. Matt Burke was real good. And those are the rosters. Pretty fun to go back to 2002. But let's go ahead and see how this season progresses and how Tom Brady's career goes and how the rest of the league goes. Also, the reason I've taken the Chiefs, as you can see, that's not what Trent Green looks like. The reason I've taken the Chiefs is so I can take Chiefs playbook off of them so that no one else can have Chiefs playbook. That was a big thing that kind of stunted the last video from 2010 onward, is that the Chiefs playbook is just so strong in the game. So I'm going to try and make that not be a thing. As we'll see how 2021 goes, but it's really 2002. So very interesting. The Raiders won the division at 15-2. They did have the best record in 2002 in the AFC, but in this one they have the best record in the league. The Packers with Brett Favre were quite good. The Panthers, Cowboys, Rams, Patriots. Ooh, Patriots got in. We're gonna see some Raiders Patriots rematch action. See a little, what was that? The where Tom Brady had his arm action going forward and then pulled it back. The legendary tuck rule game with the Raiders and the Patriots. Could be a fun rematch. Dolphins and Jets got into. Titans, Eagles. Interesting. I do have to load in the 2002 NFL draft, though. Or would it be 2000? It's 2003. So yeah, it's 2003. In 2003, Carson Palmer would go #1 overall to the Bengals. The Lions took Charles Rogers, of course, the legend Andre Johnson, Terrence Newman, who was a 25-year-old rookie, by the way, who went top 5 to the Cowboys. Kind of insane. Some really good players in this class, though. Kevin Williams, one half of the Williams wall with Pat. One of the most underrated players of the 2000s for sure. I think he's a 6-time All-Pro, something insane. T-Sizzle, some real good players. Troy Polamalu, Calvin Pace was good for a bit. Kyle Bowler was not with the Ravens. Rex Grossman was not with the Bears, but they did make a Super Bowl. What if Willis McGahee plays a healthy career? Dallas Clark, Larry Johnson, who was so sick with the Chiefs, but is also an insane person. I don't know if you've seen his Twitter. It's a trip. He is crazy, legitimately insane. Nnamdi Asomugha was amazing with the Raiders. They might be in position to draft him. Charles Tillman, Rasheem Mathis in there. Pisa, Tino Isamoa, even though it's not spelled correctly because it wouldn't allow Pisa for some reason. It's because it's floor in Spanish. That's piso. I don't freaking know. Oh my goodness, by the way. Rich Gannon led the league in passing yards. Could Rich Gannon somehow win MVP in this season? Just like he did in real life? Out of nowhere? That may have happened. Brad Johnson had a crazy year. Donovan McNabb, Mark Brunell, not looking much like Mark Brunell. Drew Bledsoe, Jeff Garcia, Jake Plummer. There's Tom Brady, pretty good year. Aaron Brooks, I forgot about him. David Carr actually wasn't terrible. Yeah, what if David Carr doesn't bust? Ooh, wow. Not looking very much like David Carr either. Clinton Portis actually led the league in rushing yards and touchdowns. Eddie George was awesome. Marshall Faulk, Amon Green, the Edge, Priest Holmes. Daniel Tomlinson was really good. A lot of rushing yards, obviously. for a lot of these guys. Extra games, so these numbers are all going to look really good. Travis Henry at 16 touchdowns and Charlie Garner at 15. 21 for the Bus, 17 for Thomas Jones, who played for like every team in his career. Randy Moss led the league in receiving yards. That makes sense. Had 13 touchdowns. Keyshawn was real good too. Antonio Bryant with an unreal season. Joe Horn. Darrell Jackson isn't really even a name I remember too much. T.O. was quite good. Eric Moulds had 11 touchdowns. Jerry Rice had 13 touchdowns. David Boston led the league in TDs with 14. He had a really, really good year. Donald Driver was awesome. Jerry Rice is insane. Troy Brown was really good too. I have no idea who this is. Isaiah Kashemski at 154 tackles. I mean, some of these guys are not memorable at all. Tackles for loss. Fred Wakefield. Who is Fred Wakefield? He had 26 tackles for loss. Undrafted in 2001, retired in 2008. Doesn't seem to be super memorable. His Wikipedia page has 3 sentences, and that's it. He's a former American football guard, tight end, and defensive tackle. I don't even know what to say about him. So he played on the D-line his first 3 years in the league, and then played right tackle in 2005, and then tight end in 2006. I don't know about Fred Wakefield, man. This guy is bizarre. This is like maybe a better version of Crockett Gilmore with the Ravens. Jason Taylor, by the way, had 29 sacks, most by a lot. Mike Rucker led the Panthers in sacks. Patrick Kearney, 16.5. Junior Seau had 16.5. Not even a rush linebacker. Very interesting names in here. Takeo Spike, same deal. Ty Law had the most picks. A number of different players at 5. Wow, could the Dolphins stop the Patriots dynasty from ever existing? They beat the Patriots in the wild card, and they will play the Raiders in the divisional. Colts, Steelers on the other side, and then in the NFC, it's Packers, Bears, and Cowboys, Rams. So the Rams made it out, and the Patriots made it out in real life. But that's no longer possible, at least for the Patriots. What about for the Rams? Conference championship is Packers, Rams, and Raiders, Steelers. And the Super Bowl will be Packers, Raiders. Some would say that the Raiders should have been there in real life anyway. They beat the Steelers 32-31, and the Packers narrowly beat the Rams with a field goal. And the Super Bowl will be Raiders, Packers. Stacked Raiders team, the MVP, Rich Gannon, versus Brett Favre and a pretty good Packers team. Let's go ahead and watch this. Clinton Portis won MVP, by the way, and Offensive Rookie of the Year. Julius Peppers, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Well, I really thought Rich Gannon was going to win it, but no. Ben Lieber with a real good year, too. All right, Raiders, Packers, Super Bowl. Both 79 overall teams, by the way. This could be very interesting. Is this in Las Vegas, by the way? Yeah, this was before the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, but I think they do technically have home field advantage. I think this is Allegiant, as they are up 10-3 here in the Super Bowl. Make it 17-3. Packers not exactly showing up with Brett Favre, but that touchdown is going to make this more of a game. Raiders just extend the lead again. It is 27-10. So, I mean, I was going to watch this game in slow motion if it was close near the end. But it's 30-17, 30-24, and that is your Super Bowl. The Raiders have defeated the Packers and are Super Bowl champions for the first time since John Madden was the head coach. Craziness. Oh, look at Knight, dude. Knight's entire neck was silver. He had the Ed Reed kind of face scan glitch from earlier. That is frightening. I need to see it. Can I see him on the field somewhere? There he is. He's number 86. Oh my god, dude. He's a nightmare. I just saw him in the back. There's another one. It'd be really funny if one was up there on the podium. Oh, there he is. Look at him in the middle. Let him hoist the Lombardi. We got a freaking cyborg playing on the Raiders. This game, man. Look at him. Oh, he's so ugly. Brett Favre did throw for 381 and 3 touchdowns. But of course, the gunslinger was going to throw a pick. That's pretty much Brett Favre for you. Of course, everything is turned on auto, by the way, for team management. So I am not controlling anything I do for whatever team I'm in control of at that time. So they can still sign free agents, do whatever they want to do. But let's see how free agency goes. Let's see what the mock draft thinks is going to happen. We'll see the order too for the first time. This has the Browns taking Carson Palmer at number 1. Washington getting Andre Johnson. Jordan Gross at the Texans. They should have taken offensive line to protect David Carr in real life, so that would be good for them. Ooh, the Giants getting T-Sizzle. I'm in the Bucks with Troy Polamalu. That would be crazy. The Eagles getting Nnamdi Asomugha. Dude, he was so bad with the Eagles. It's not even funny. Patriots with Larry Johnson. Byron Leftwich to the Panthers. The Giants with 2 first-round picks will be getting Charles Tillman because they have the Bears in real life, but I guess I need to trade that back. Not a big signing class, free agent class here with the Packers, but in the league, not a ton of important free agents, really. Sebastian Janikowski to the Titans. It's like one of the biggest ones I've seen. Yeah, not a big free agent class there. NFL draft will have the Browns at number 1 overall, taking Carson Palmer. Pretty much had to be. We'll show off a few of these. Andre Johnson does go to Washington. Dwayne Robertson to the Lions. We'll see if he ends up busting or not. Jordan Gross to the Texans. The mock draft pretty correct so far. Kevin Williams to the Jets. The Giants get Terrence Newman instead, the 25-year-old rookie. T-Sizzle to the Jags. Probably would have preferred that for the Giants. Troy Polamalu does go to the Buccaneers. The Ravens at number 9 take Jimmy Kennedy. And then the top 10 finishes out with the Vikings taking Marcus Trufant. Packers got Rashean Mathis. You'll see some of the highest overall players in the class here. Andre Johnson, quite good. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Troy Polamalu, the highest rated in the class. I will try and upload these to the file share under the name, of course, Gene Dangus. They're going to get deleted. They all get deleted. The Bears get Jason Witten later. Ovi Migueli doesn't really matter too much. The Giants got Anquan Bolden in the second. Robert Mathis to the Vikings. Asante Samuel does go to the Patriots. Spent a little bit of time there. Of course, Asante Samuel was their 4th round pick, taken in the 3rd round here, but they knew that they wanted him. He did not go to Texas, by the way. I went to UCF, but that is irrelevant for the video. Lance Briggs, of course, talked about him with the Bears earlier. He goes to the Jets. Dallas Clark to Miami. Osi Umenyiora, kind of a little Giants legend there, goes to Minnesota. In 2003 now, the Packers would win the division. Dolphins with the 1 seed. Patriots do sneak in. Patriots, Chiefs, Titans, Raiders, Steelers, Colts. And in the NFC, you have the Cowboys and the 49ers. Eagles got the 1 seed. Falcons, Rams, and of course, Packers, Bucks. Chad Pennington led the league in yards. Look at Kerry Collins up there. Not a lot of top quarterbacks at the top of the list. Most passing touchdowns went to Jeff Garcia, 37-7 ratio. A lot of good ratios here. Kurt Warner, Rich Gannon, Trent Green even up there. Aaron Brooks. I'm talking, of course, touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, Peyton Manning only threw 3 picks. Didn't do anything crazy, but was, of course, very solid. It's not as much of a pass-heavy offense as it was in real life for the Colts then. Rushing, Priest Holmes went for nearly 2,200 yards. 20 touchdowns. I mean, he was like a complete awesome do-it-all back. Really good at catching out of the backfield. Edgerrin James, nearly 2,017 TDs as well. A lot of crazy numbers. I mean, Curtis Martin had 21 touchdowns, man. That is very nice. Clinton Portis took a step back in terms of yards, but still a great year. Just didn't get the football quite as much. Rick even at 17. Jamal Lewis, of course, was really good during this time. Marty Booker led the league in yards. Randy Moss right behind him with 110 catches. It probably led the league. Keyshawn Johnson right at the top. I mean, some of the same names here. Amani Toomer for the Giants. Touchdowns, Isaac Bruce had 16. Wayne Corbett, 15. Amani Toomer, Randy Moss, T.O., David Terrell, Reggie Wayne, Joe Horn. A lot of guys with double-digit touchdowns, including the rookie Andre Johnson. Brian Urlacher looking like Brian Urlacher, leading the league in tackles. He's starting to look very good. Dan Morgan right in there. Chris Claiborne again. And then Jason Taylor, another crazy year. 23 sacks. Joe Johnson with 21. Joe Johnson, 2-time Pro Bowler. This would be his final year in the league in real life. but probably not anymore after a 21 sack season. That's insane for an 80 overall. Leonard Little up there, Simeon Rice, Trevor Price, Michael Strahan, Peter Boulware. Some really good players in here. And then interceptions. Jamar Fletcher had 8. Adrian Ross, Quincy Ward. Not exactly the biggest names at the top there. Packers got blown out by the Bucks. In the divisional, you'll have Dolphins, Colts, Chiefs, Titans, and then Eagles, Cowboys, and Bucks, Rams. Colts beat the Dolphins, Chiefs advance the AFC Championship, and then it's Eagles, Bucks in the NFC. Could Peyton Manning get his first Super Bowl? And then on the other side, what's the big story? I mean, the Bucks, I think, won the Super Bowl in real life this year. So can they repeat history? But this history has not happened in this universe, if you will. So we'll see what happens. It will be Colts Bucks. You have Tony Dungy's former team against Tony Dungy. Cool thing about creating a new character every time is that the playbooks are going to kind of change and reset and move around as they get new coaches. So we are not going to be seeing the same usual teams be good. It's going to change a lot year to year, and maybe, hopefully, the best rosters will be the best teams. Now, the Bucks and Colts did play this year, and the Colts won 38-35. Colts moved to 5-0, Bucks to 2-2 after the loss. And the Bucks are up early here, 7-0, 10-3. Colts tie it, and the Bucks take the lead before the half. This is a very back and forth game. 20-13. Let's go ahead and catch a Peyton Manning drive. We will switch sides as we are now into the fourth quarter. Colts gonna have to turn things on a little bit. Only 6 minutes to play. This is a handoff up the middle to Edgerrin James, who's not having the best game in the world. 11 carries for 35 yards. And they're gonna stay working out a shotgun here. It's 2nd and 8. You got Peyton Manning. Throw the football. They go back to the edge. He makes a man miss, but will be tackled for only a short gain, as it brings up 3rd and 5. Still out of the shotgun. Bunch left. Manning to throw. Fires deep and has a receiver. It's Reggie Wayne. Touchdown, Colts. And we have a tie game in the Super Bowl pending the extra point. Looks like the Bucks are going to be content just running the ball out in a jumbo heavy package here, but they're going to actually drop back to throw. And it's going to be Brad Johnson, who, yes, does not look anything like Brad Johnson. Airing it out, jump ball. Maybe to Keyshawn Johnson, but that one falls incomplete. Yeah, Brad Johnson is white in real life, so hopefully that doesn't ruin your immersion. And the Bucks will punt. Peyton Manning with a chance to win it here late. 3rd and 3. I probably would have bet the Colts to run the ball here, but it doesn't look like they're going to. Manning will throw short and complete it on the sideline. Marvin Harrison, his first action, also maybe a murderer. If you guys didn't know, fun fact about, maybe not so fun, but it is maybe a fact. Brad Johnson is, yeah, yikes. Oh, they're going to call that incomplete. And this punt sucks. Yeah, there's Brad Johnson. His picture doesn't exactly match the guy you're seeing on the field. But uncharacteristic of Peyton Manning teams at the time, they're not getting points on the board. Running the football a lot. And the Bucks now will have a chance to win. See who wants it more. Brad Johnson airing it out deep. Another jump ball, and it's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. I mean, you couldn't throw more of a floating snowball, and it got caught. With 1 minute and 12 seconds to play, and I guess they're going to review it. But with 1 minute and 12 seconds to play, the Bucks are going to take a touchdown lead. The Colts need a touchdown to tie. 1 minute to play. I'd love to see them actually get aggressive with all their weapons. You have Reggie Wayne, you have Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. Start throwing the football. 30 seconds to play. Manning has time. Will throw deep down the right sideline. Has a man over the top, and he caught it. It's Reggie Wayne again. Touchdown, Colts. And this Super Bowl is not over yet. Into overtime now. Colts with the football, 2nd and 1. Imagine this one's going to Edgerrin James. And it does. Up the middle. Nice little run. Touchdown ends it. Nobody wants to win this game. Just keep throwing it. That's not going to work. And they're going to try a field goal to go up 30-27. You know, at this time, this would be the only overtime Super Bowl ever. There had never been one up until Patriots-Falcons, of course, in the 28-3 game. But this would be the first overtime Super Bowl ever. It's been a good game. But can we see a winner at any point? Johnson getting sacked. At Dwight Freeney. When was Dwight Freeney a rookie? Maybe 2000, 1999? No, 2002. So this is his second year in the league. Had 11 sacks in real life this year. And gets a huge one in the Super Bowl to set up 3rd and long. Bucks, of course, in 4-down territory. They have 2 plays to get those 17 yards. Don't need them all in this play. But Johnson understands that and finds Keyshawn Johnson. It's 4th and manageable. 4th and 8. A lot better than 4th and 17. Game on the line. A stop wins the Colts their first Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. Johnson airs it out deep. 1-on-1, incomplete, and there is a flag. Oh my. That's going to be holding. But on who? On the offense. And that is game over. The Colts are Super Bowl champions. I don't know that I've ever seen defensive holding called in Madden. But it is a penalty. I just don't know that it exists in the game. But yeah, it seems like taking Peyton Manning #1 overall has worked out for the Colts as they get their first Super Bowl with him under the reins. Good stuff for the Colts. And we'll take things to 2004. This is when his brother is going to come into the league. You remember that draft controversy with he and like not wanting to go to the Chargers at #1 overall? And then, of course, you know, the Giants would orchestrate that trade to send Phillip Rivers, or the draft rights of Phillip Rivers over to the Chargers. The Giants got Eli. What a crazy thing. So the draft class college glitch is happening, but this has, of course, Eli Manning, Robert Gallery, who is deemed to be a pretty big bust, Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, of course, RIP Sean Taylor. It's going to be fun to see his career play out. Unfortunately, it was tragically cut short by a home invader. Pretty awful. Kellen Winslow, Kellen Winslow Jr. is not good. Again, you're going to have to Google the type of shit he's into. It's crazy. Like, I don't even want to say some of the stuff Kellen Winslow Jr.'s into. D'Angelo Hall, Big Ben, Jonathan Vilma, who might be the worst color commentator in the history of the NFL. Listening to him call Giants games has been maybe even worse than watching the Giants lose every game. But it's close. Big Vince, Steven Jackson. It's a really good draft class. 2003 recap has Priest Holmes winning MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Joe Johnson won Defensive Player of the Year. Carson Palmer, Rookie of the Year. Maybe the Browns finally found their guy, and the Lions drafted Pisatino Isamoa. And they got the Defensive Rookie of the Year, so maybe the Lions didn't draft a bust. He was okay with the Rams in real life. Not amazing, but okay. This is mock draft think is going to happen. We'll see the draft order. The Texans taking Eli Manning. Yeah, the draft logic in Madden 22 is so stupid, and it'll just take quarterbacks. It'll just basically go in the order of what the actual draft board is. They'll just take those players no matter what. So teams that don't really need quarterbacks or shouldn't take quarterbacks at this point will take them anyway. But Phillip Rivers to the Lions, Larry Fitz to the Panthers. Goes from the Pitt Panthers to the Carolina Panthers. Sean Taylor to the Ravens. Man, how sick would that defense be? Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. Kellen Winslow Jr. did go to the Browns. Lee Evans did go to the Bills. The Giants get Jonathan Vilma instead of the Jets this time around. D'Angelo Hall to the Broncos. Big Vince to the Jets. Big Ben does go to the Steelers in this. We'll have to see what actually happens. Steven Jackson to the Raiders. Chris Nee, Giants legend, goes to the Cowboys. And those are the big first round ones. Free agency recap. Still a lot of punters and stuff. Rich Gannon goes to the Chiefs. Aaron Glenn to the Raiders. Troy Vincent to the Ravens. Again, no real major ones. This will get bigger, of course, as this franchise progresses. This league goes on. We'll watch the top 10, see if there are any surprises. Eli Manning out of Ole Miss goes to the Texans. Robert Gallery goes to Washington football team instead of the Raiders. The Lions do get Phillip Rivers. The Panthers get Larry Fitzgerald. Cardinals take Roy Williams. Not a whole lot of surprises so far based off the mock draft. Sean Taylor does go to the Ravens. The Browns do get Kellen Winslow Jr. Lee Evans goes to the Bills. Was Lee Evans taken that high? I guess I didn't know that. Lee Evans was 13th overall. So not number 8. Giants get Jonathan Vilma. And the Bears end things with Sean Andrews. We'll see Big Ben later. Trust me, I'll show you. This was also the Bob Sanders draft. I'm going to be curious to see where he goes because I think I rated him pretty highly. Jared Allen to the Browns. Major steal in the 4th round. Browns could use it. Michael Turner does go to the Falcons. Chargers drafted him in real life, but of course had his best years in Atlanta. He's going to just skip over the Chargers, probably for the best. Wes Welker gets drafted, goes to the Jags. What else is fun in here? Big Ben does get drafted by the Steelers. He's got a huge neck roll, apparently, and he's wearing number 6. Jason Babbitt is not white in this. And Bob Sanders goes to Washington football team. You know what? If you're going to get as close to a Sean Taylor type player as possible, Bob Sanders, when healthy, was amazing. So they don't get Sean Taylor, but they do get Bob Sanders. D'Angelo Hall to the Broncos. Nathan Vasher to the Dolphins. Jerko Kotry to the Eagles. Definitely some fun ones in there. Chris Cooley to the Ravens. Ravens are going to look really, really good. Bit of a Super Bowl slump. Little hangover for the Colts. Only going 7-10. Missing out on the playoffs. The Titans and the Jags went big. The Bengals and the Eagles have both 1 seeds. In the AFC, it's going to be Broncos, Raiders. Titans, Chiefs, Jets, Jags. In the NFC, it's going to be Packers, Seahawks. 49ers, Falcons, and Panthers, Giants. The Panthers and the Giants did actually play in the playoffs right around this time. I think it was 2005, though, and not 2004. And the Panthers were an annoying team around this time. They were pretty good. Peyton Manning only threw 18 touchdown passes. Frustrating. Donovan McNabb threw for over 5,000 yards, 44 touchdowns, only 6 picks. He's going to be one of the best QBs ever in this. He'll go up to Superstar X Factor for sure. Matt Schaub is on the Bengals now. Tuiasa Sopo starting games. No shot. No shot. I guess so. Matt Schaub was pretty good. Brett Favre had one of his best seasons ever. Tony Romo, not so bad. Trent Green in there. Chad Pennington with the Jets. Wonder if he'll end up on the Dolphins in this. Clinton Portis once again leads the league in yards. Mon Green had 22 touchdowns. LaDainian Tomlinson should be heating up. This is about to be when he was amazing. Still was very, very good. Wow. Yeah, it looks like LaDainian Tomlinson. Oh my goodness. All right. Edgerrin James was real good. Bunch of good running back production. Juan Brown had 14 TDs. All right. Receiving, Donald Driver led the league in yards. Where's Randy Moss? Wonder if he got injured. Not played in 17 games. Torrey Holt only played in 15. Only had 2 touchdowns, but did put up pretty good numbers. As for touchdowns, Jerko Kotry played in only 16 games as opposed to 17 that everyone else played in. Had 18 TDs anyway. Didn't matter. Wayne Corbett went off. Andre Johnson is starting to emerge as a very, very, very good player. Broncos crushed the Raiders. Titans narrowly escaped beating the Chiefs and then the Jaguars in a thriller. 13-10 over the Jets. That sounds about right. Giants beat the Panthers, Niners over the Falcons, and the Packers crushed Seattle. Those are your division matchups. AFC Conference Championship has the Eagles beating the Giants and advancing Packers over the Niners in a close game, and the Jags and the Broncos playing for a shot at the Super Bowl. Would obviously be the first Super Bowl ever for the Jaguars up to this point, and even still, Broncos could get one, and then it would be the first one for the Eagles if they get in there, and the Packers with Brett Favre still trying to win it all. They did in like 1992, something around then, but they're trying for another one. And we'll see if they get there. It's going to be Eagles, Jags in the Super Bowl. What a matchup. The Gardner Minshew Bowl will take over with the Eagles. And we're getting to the point where I'll probably check out some of these teams as we get here, because they will have changed up a bit with players from real life that you guys are going to be more familiar with, but not yet. Because still, we've only seen a couple of drafts, so not a ton has changed, but you see Wes Welker with the Jags. That's a little odd. Eagles up over the Jags right now, 17-6. Jaguars just only managing to get some field goals on the board. Not more than that. 24-9, 24-12, still only field goals for Jacksonville, and it's just not going to be enough. They're going to need to stop and a score, and it's just not going to happen. Your final will be 37-19. The Eagles taking home their first Super Bowl of all time, and I think it was inevitable looking at this team with Brian Dawkins, and of course, after the year that Donovan McNabb had. Is that Ty Detmer? Unbelievable. McNabb won MVP, Jason Taylor, Defensive Player of the Year. Getting kind of used to seeing that. He's been amazing. This was a crazy draft because not only did 3 running backs go top 5, 2 from the same school went top 5 in Ronnie Brown and Carnell Cadillac Williams. RIP Cedric Benson. But this was not a great overall draft class. Yeah, some good players in here. DeMarcus Ware, Sean Merriman, lights out, was pretty good for a little while. Like, there are some really solid players in here, but a lot of classes are kind of defined by how good the quarterbacks are, and there's really only one in Aaron Rodgers. Like, Alex Smith was pretty good for a while, stuck around, big story at the end of his career. A lot of perseverance, right? But Jason Campbell wasn't much. Kyle Orton, not great. Dan Orlovsky, not great. Derek Anderson, Matt Castle, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, maybe he's a little better than you remember. I mean, Jason White won a Heisman at Oklahoma, went undrafted, never played in the NFL. Matt Castle never started in college, still got drafted. I don't even think he started at the end of his high school career either. Crazy stuff. Mock draft thinks Alex Smith is going #1 overall to the Cardinals. Ronnie Brown to the Steelers. Browns getting Braylon Edwards. They got him in real life. Cedric Benson stays in Texas. Cadillac to Detroit. I like that a lot. The Motor City getting Cadillac. That's pretty fun. Troy Williamson was a huge bust for the Vikings, but they haven't gone to the Bills here. D. Ware to the Chargers. Different Mike Williams get Derek Johnson. Sean Merriman to the Bucks. Antrell Roll to Washington, was a cornerback for a bit. Ended up being a safety near the end of his career. Of course, game days, David Pollock. Aaron Rodgers to Baltimore. That would be crazy. He's probably the highest overall player in this class. The Giants did actually have David Boss for a bit too, but I think the Niners drafted him first, I want to say. This could be an interesting free agency recap. Ooh, Lamont Jordan, forgot about him. I think he put up 1,000 yards with the Raiders one year. Mike Allstott to the Falcons. Now, teams are pretty much still holding on to their best players. Aaron Glenn to the Jags. Eric Moulds to the Chiefs. Troy Vincent back here. John Lynch to the Saints. Algie Crumpler, the Cowboys. Junior Seau to the Rams, but he's getting real old. Cardinals get Alex Smith. Ronnie Brown to the Steelers. It's pretty much going to be as the mock draft was, I imagine. That's pretty much been the trend. So I think what will be better is just jumping to the draft recap and seeing where the best players went. Marcus Ware to the Chargers, you know that. Aaron Rodgers actually went top 10, and the Bucks took him. He went a lot earlier, but for good reason. He is unbelievable. And headed to Tampa. Logan Mankins was so good for a while, goes to the Ravens. So this was actually supposed to be Nick Collins, but that has been adjusted now. And he's going from the Packers in real life to the rival Detroit Lions. Well, maybe not a rival. They're in the same division. I'm not sure. And even look at John Kuhn, another legendary Packer of this time frame that is headed to the Motor City instead. The Giants won the division. It is a video game after all. Got to suspend our belief a little bit. Chargers, Broncos, Ravens, Patriots, Titans, Bengals. The Jets grab the 1 seed. Bucks have it on the other side. And then you have Packers, Niners, Giants, Rams, and Seahawks. Falcons in the Battle of the Birds. And let's go ahead and check out the season stats as well. Aaron Rodgers is a starter somewhere, but the question is where? Because he led the league in passing yards. Yeah, the Bucks, that's right. Forgot about that. It's been a few hours after I did the draft, and I am back. Let's see here. I mean, Brett Favre still killing it, but Aaron Rodgers a little bit better. A little bit better. 42 touchdowns is 38, but Brett Favre shockingly threw only 5 interceptions. Mark Burdell's on the Jags and not playing anymore. Aaron Brooks is starting to go off a little bit. He's still young enough where he could end up developing a little bit. He's 30. I mean, maybe not. Cordell Stewart is the Cowboys starter. Jeff Garcia still with the Niners. Kerry Collins still with the Giants. Big Ben, he's starting to develop a little bit. He's a Miami of Ohio guy. I do see the irony of all the other guys being Miami of Ohio when they were Miami, and he's legit Miami of Ohio. Priest Holmes continues to be very good. Corey Dillon and Eddie George over 1,600 yards as well. I'm on green, real close. Sean Alexander, 20 touchdowns. But Big Deuce, 21 TDs, narrowly beats him. Michael Turner, very odd year. Power back mainly, I guess. 3.8 yards per carry, but 19 touchdowns. I mean, Derek Samuels had 16 TDs. Very interesting numbers. Hines Ward led the league in yards. Micah Henley, real close. Who is this? Player does not exist. Must be an undrafted guy that slipped through the cracks and got playing time somehow. I hate that a lot. Dante Stallworth, what did he do? Is he a hit and run guy? Dude thought he was playing Simpsons hit and run in real life, but put up very good numbers here. Nate Washington, Isaac Bruce, Tyree Bates, Jericho Cotchery with the Eagles, David Boston still putting up pretty good numbers. And then defensively, Chris Lincoln leads the league in tackles. Jeremiah Trotter and Barrett Rude. Right behind Barrett Rude, rookie. Yeah, he was awesome with the Bucks for a very, very short while as Jason Taylor continues to dominate. 24.5 sacks. Now, they did sign Joey Porter in real life. The Dolphins did after his contract was up with the Steelers. But after 22 sacks, I'm not sure that Joey Porter's going anywhere. Steelers probably going to want to retain him. Kyle Vanden Bosch put up numbers. RIP Will Smith, but he had a very good year. Derek Brooks, 15.5 sacks as an off-ball linebacker. It's all scheme-based. I mean, look at his power and finesse moves, dude. Put up 15.5 sacks. Aaron Campman was very good. Craziness. And then, I don't know, no one particularly noteworthy. Interception numbers are so odd in simulation. I think it's just completely random. The Titans and Chargers, as well as the Packers and Rams, have ended up in their respective conference championships. Who do the Chargers have? Drew Brees at this time. I don't even know who the Titans quarterback would be. We'll see if they make the Super Bowl. And then Packers, Chargers, or Packers, Rams, it would be probably still Kurt Warner and, of course, Brett Favre. Could be a very interesting championship matchup, and it will be Titans-Rams. This was the Super Bowl. This is the legendary 1 yard short. Was it Kevin Dyson was the receiver? I have no idea who made the tackle. I mean, I would know the name if I heard it, but it's not one that I'm coming up with. Let's look it up. Mike Jones, that's right. It's funny how quickly the name of the guy who gets tackled comes to mind, but not the guy who made an incredible tackle on the goal line to win the Rams a Super Bowl. Insanity. But let's go ahead and check out the Titans real quick. Actually, you know what? Let's just become the Titans. We got Keith Bullock, Albert Hainsworth. We have, Albert Hainsworth before he got super fat and lazy and just stole all the money from Washington, which I'm all for, by the way. Let me actually view this in a just lineup. It'll be way more fun. Javon Curse, we talked about earlier, the freak. Oh yeah, Steve McNair is still the quarterback. I guess I thought he would have moved on at this point. Obviously not face scanned, but yeah, I mean, our RIP Steve McNair, another one taken too soon. It's so sad seeing these guys who unfortunately are not with us anymore. Tony Boselli is regressing big time. He doesn't look very much like Tony Boselli, I'll be honest with you. Well, it's funny because Tony Boselli retired really young, if I recall. Yeah, he retired after his age 29 season. He only played 3 games. I guess it was due to injury. So he was just sitting in free agency, maybe? Because he retired after 2001. Darren Sproles is in here. This would be a really fun offense. Rookie Darren Sproles, Steve McNair, Derek Mason. They got Roy Williams. Not too bad. And then defensively, of course, they got some big-time playmakers like Samari Rolle, Javon Curse, Albert Hainsworth. And who is this? Kevin Carter. This looks like a pretty good D-line. Let's go ahead and get into the Super Bowl, see who wins. It's a really fun draft, too, here, 2006. Mario Williams, I feel like, is pretty... I don't know, like... I don't want to say underrated because he didn't have an amazing career, but he had a better career than you probably think. Reggie Bush and Vince Young are 2 of the best college football players I've ever seen. Reggie Bush, who's at the top. Vince Young, as a Texas Longhorns fan, is my favorite college player ever. AJ Hawk was obviously really good in college too. Matt Leinart. I mean, this just to me is like the golden era of college football that I can remember, like, because it's just when I started becoming like big into it, I would say. And AJ Hawk is kind of weird because like he had a fine career, but it wasn't that good. So would you take him top 5 if you could again? Because he was fine, but he wasn't top 5 good. But there weren't too many guys in this draft that were, but some really fun players. Should be fun to see where they go. Pretty close Super Bowl so far. It's been pretty back and forth, and then will continue. 17-14 Rams, and they'll extend that to 20-14. Titans still very much in this, though, and they will tie things up at 20. Let's go ahead and slow things down. And see, don't pretend that's not Sean McVay. This is 2005. Let's see what they can do. Is that Kurt Warner? Like, we know that's not what Kurt Warner looks like. But with the face scans and stuff, I want to leave the face scans. He's wearing 13. It looks like it says Warner. It's got to be Kurt Warner. He's airing it out deep. One-on-one, and it's caught on the sideline. Huge play for the Rams as a cyborg robot with human arms makes the catch. Oh, that is so bizarre. That is so bizarre to see. Warner off his back foot, contorting his body. Awkward off-platform throw, but he got it there. I didn't even see the number either. Was that Torrey Holt? Could have been Isaac Bruce. I couldn't see who it was. It could have been even somebody else as well, as that is White Marshall Faulk. I don't know what's more important, like seeing them in game, which we rarely do except for the Super Bowl. We're actually seeing their picture and the stats, and I think the picture is more important as Marshall Faulk. As Marshall Faulk will go up in the middle, score a touchdown. And the Rams take a touchdown lead with just over 2 to play. McNair trying to at least tie it. It's kind of all they can do. It's a good start. Titans driving. McNair just going to check down, but that's a pretty good completion. 1 minute to play. McNair out of the shotgun, trying to throw a screen. That one incomplete. McNair not having a great game in terms of completion percentage, but the yards are piling up. McNair to the end zone. This one is caught, and the Titans will tie it up. Dude, the games we keep jumping into are slugfests, and each has a crazier finish than the last. Are we going to see another overtime Super Bowl? McNair fired, and there just was never a play made by the DB. Got the cleats down. That's a touchdown. It's 3rd and 10. This is actually huge because the Titans have their timeouts, and I imagine we'll call them after a stop here. And the Rams are going to have to punt. We've seen Air McNair before. We know he can launch it deep. I just don't know if there's enough time for them to do anything. They're going to have maybe 30 seconds to go 60 yards, 65 yards, 66 yards. I just don't see it happening. I'm not even sure they're going to try, although they are going trips left. They have the tight end off the line, and they are going to pass. McNair with time will throw short and will not get out of bounds, and they will not call a timeout. It's a 10-second runoff. Might have 2 plays if you're quick about it. I'm not sure why they're not calling their timeouts. Quick throw and bricked off the hands of the receiver. That's actually a killer. He maybe gets past the 50. If he catches that. You're in the opposing territory. You got to play. You got a timeout to work the middle of the field even, which they probably wouldn't do. The CPU's stupid. McNair going to go deep and finds the ground. Nice one. And we're going to another overtime. Touchdown wins the game. Field goal extends it. Let's see who's going to start off with the football. Survey says Titans. That's space up the middle. Tennessee getting into field goal range. Kind of using Darren Sproles as a power back at times. This scheme is designed for Derrick Henry in real life and not Darren Sproles. They're very different backs, but he's getting the job done, kind of. He's getting a lot of touches. 3rd and 3, McNair out of the gun, firing short. And the football came out. It's recovered by the Rams. And he's got space. He's got daylight. Down the sideline, no one will catch him. Super Bowl over. What an end to the Super Bowl. The Rams again make a huge play when it mattered most on defense. This time, a turnover. They got a sideboard coming at them. That football got popped out by Hartwell. Polly recovered, and it was game over. Unbelievable. Season recap has Aaron Rodgers starting right away, unlike in real life, and winning MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Offensive Rookie of the Year. Pretty good start. Jason Taylor with another Defensive Player of the Year. Mike Allstott headed to the Raiders. Adam Vinatieri headed to the Bucks. Sam Madison to the Bears. Roy Williams to the Falcons. He's developing pretty well. James Harrison to the Ravens. That's like sacrilegious. But I guess he did end his career with the Bengals, or at least was there for a final stretch. How does Scott Fujita have superstar dev? Yeah, like 99 superstar at injuring people on purpose. Shout out Bountygate. But also, no. Panthers at number 1 overall. This could be very, I mean, it's not going to be that interesting. They're going to take Mario Williams, but then have a defensive line that features Mario Williams and Julius Peppers. Certainly, right? No, they take Vince Young number 1. Vince Young could actually end up being really good in that offense. That's a thing that could happen. Because the Titans in real life were real bad, got in position to get Vince Young. But in this little world, they were just in the Super Bowl. So that's interesting. Mario Williams goes to Chicago. The Browns take Reggie Bush. Woo. There's a lot of chaos happening in this 2006 draft. The Saints, in turn, grab Vernon Davis, the next Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was so good with the Saints for a little while, but they don't have Drew Brees here. I don't know who their quarterback is. Who are the Chiefs going to take? Picking very high. They take a left tackle, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Jets legend. The Jets were trying to get in position to draft Reggie Bush, and they couldn't. I think they were really trying hard to trade up for that number 2 pick. Couldn't do it. And they ended up with DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Jags take AJ Hawk. Michael Huff to the Colts. The Bills snag Dante Hittner. That's what they did in real life. Took Dante Whitner. Yeah, I think I mention this every time I bring him up. But he tried, I think, to change his name, or said he was going to change his name to Dante Hittner because he was super feared. I mean, who did he knock out? Did he knock out Pierre Thomas in the playoffs? I feel like he KO'd Pierre Thomas. It might have been somebody else. He KO'd somebody, I want to say, with a hit. Chad Greenway to the Cardinals would have been penalized heavily today, and might have even been penalized back then too. As A. Crow goes to the Vikings. Tamba Hali to the Raiders. Of course, divisional swap there. Used to play on the Chiefs and be quite good. Haloti Ngata to Washington. And the Texans take Ty Hill. I keep doing some picks here, but it's a really fun draft class. We'll see where the rest of these guys go, including some big quarterbacks, Matt Leinart and Jay Cutler. Matt Leinart, if you are students of history, you'll know he did not work out in the league. But Smokin' Jay had a pretty good career. Titans ended up with Bobby Carpenter. Not the best. But let's see. Haloti Ngata is the highest overall player in this class. He was really good. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, I think. So, made him pretty good. Elvis Dumerville, very good 4th-round pick of the Saints, who had an interesting draft so far. Like, some pretty good players. Nick Mangold to the Ravens. Delaney Walker to the Bucks. MJD to Seattle. Andrew Whitworth to Washington Football Team. Any other real interesting ones? D'Amico Ryans to the Texans, or Patriots. He was a Rookie of the Year with the Texans. D'Angelo Williams to the Falcons is pretty neat. Greg Jennings and Chad Greenway, some NFC North guys, headed to Arizona. Cortland Finnegan. Be fun if he was in the same division as Andre Johnson. Little storyline there when Andre Johnson punched him like 4 times in the head. It was pretty wild. Now, the 2007 draft class, in my opinion, is right at the top of the best ever. You have so many Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers, mainly the emphasis on future Hall of Famers. Calvin Johnson's already in. Joe Thomas will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jamarcus Russell will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No, not him. But Patrick Willis could be in the conversation. He should be. Like, if Calvin Johnson can get in, Patrick Willis at least deserves consideration. He was the best linebacker in the league for a pretty decent stretch. Pretty much from the moment he stepped on a field I mean, was he a first-team All-Pro rookie? I know he led the league in tackles that year. He had like 174. Patrick Willis was indeed an All-Pro in his rookie season. Pro Bowler as well, 174 tackles. And then only made the Pro Bowl, no All-Pro in 2008. And then was a Pro Bowler and All-Pro in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. Wasn't in 2013, but was a Pro Bowler. And then retired after being injured in 2014. So yeah, he retired after his age 29 season, very similarly to Tony Baselli, who's also getting Hall of Fame consideration right now. If I had a vote, I would put Patrick Willis into the Hall of Fame. I don't think you can talk about, you know, the 2010s without mentioning him. He was so good at the start of the decade. He's on the 2010s Hall of Fame team, all 2010. So I think he should at least get consideration. And then we talk about Adrian Peterson, my favorite player of all time. I know, I'm a Texas fan, Oklahoma. I was young watching him dominate, and I just was like, this guy is awesome. Too tough to root against. I liked CeeDee Lamb too, and he was an Oklahoma guy. Drafted by the Cowboys. I'm a Giants fan. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of talent here. We're seeing some of the busts, but then you see Darrelle Revis, should be a Hall of Fame corner. Marshawn Lynch, one of the best running backs of the 2010s. We have way more, by the way. Dwayne Bowe. John Beeson is super underrated. He was one of the best linebackers of the 2010s as well, or at least in that window. Three-time Pro Bowler, 08, 09, 2010, All-Pro in 2008. John Beeson was a beast for a while, and he's listed at outside linebacker here. That's not really the position he played. Let me change that. Lawrence Timmons was a really good player, too. Reggie Nelson was pretty good. I mean, I can't talk about everybody. Joe Staley is one of the best tackles of this era as well. Greg Olson, one of the best tight ends. He was awesome. Paul Posluszny doesn't very much look like Paul Posluszny, but he was real solid, led the league in tackles at least 1 year. Eric Weddle is one of the most underrated players of this time as well. He has Hall of Fame consideration. He was 2010's All-Decade team as well, I think. Yep, All-Decade for the 2010s. I mean, we also have Marshall Yanda, who will be a Hall of Fame guard. I mean, so many amazing players in this draft. We'll see where they all go. Carson Palmer seems to be leading the Browns to the promised land. That's a pretty good season. 5,300 yards, 34 TDs to 18 interceptions. David Carr, 5,000 yards with 38 touchdowns. He is developing very quickly. Please ignore his tiny, tiny head and the fact that he's not white. I mean, I guess I can change that too. I don't know why it's so buggy. And of course, Andrew Walter ended up on the Chiefs. Now, they shouldn't have the same playbook, but there's clearly a good one. Andrew Walter was not a good NFL player, did not last very long, and probably will end up developing into one of the league's best quarterbacks. But it's funny because in real life, who knows? Situation could change, and then a player with the right coaching staff, right scheme, right situation, right talent around him could end up developing the way they never really did in real life. So I'm cool with it happening. Sean Alexander leads the league in rushing yards. Clinton Portis right behind him. The edge right behind him, and then a big drop off to LaDainian Tomlinson. Did Kevin Barlow have 20 touchdowns? No shot. Deuce McAllister at 20 as well. Priest Holmes was good. Tatum Bell. Dude, I don't know why I remember Tatum Bell as much as I do, but I thought he was really just a solid player for the Broncos. I don't think he was actually all that good, but I remember him. He played for such a short amount of time. Age 23 was his rookie season. Did have 1,000 yards in 2006. Retired in 2008. Tatum Bell is just someone I remember. He was not very good, but in my head, Tatum Bell was a solid guy. There's Ricky. Derek Thomas with a good year. Receiving, Dante Hall. Yes, the return man. Now is a really good receiver and is developing quite well. He's got an amazing route running. This is a return man, the human joystick, Dante Hall. Led the league in receiving yards. But who knows? Maybe you stick Dante Hall in the Chiefs offense nowadays. Maybe he's Tyreek Hill. Braylon Edwards had a crazy year. Is he going to go sign with the Jets now? Maybe. Andre Johnson balling out with Washington football team. Donald Driver putting up numbers. Jericho Cotchery still. David Boston still. Marquise Colston is with the Bucks and not the Saints. The Giants had a linebacker duo with 150 tackles apiece. I don't know who Brandon Short is. I obviously know Jonathan Vilma. And then a number of players with 20 tackles for loss, including Michael Strahan, Chad Greenway. Not bad. Mario Williams in there as well. And then we have a bunch of 20 sack players, including off-ball linebacker Takeo Spikes. Makes no sense. He can't have good pass rush numbers. Just can't. Doesn't at all. Rams playbook, it looks like, or whatever they're using. D-Ware, 20 and a half, 20 from Richard Seymour, 20 from John Abraham. Pretty good. Jason Taylor still putting up crazy numbers. Aaron Campman as well. Robert Mathis. Adalius Thomas put up a ton too. Pretty wild. And then Asante Samuel is turning into the ball hawk that he was. 6 interceptions. Ty Law in there too. Very interesting playoff matchups. In the AFC, it's going to be Colts Jets in the divisional, Bengals Dolphins, and then in the NFC, you have Washington football team with the 1 seed against the Niners, and then the Bucks against the Lions. The Lions are becoming good. This is crazy. And the Colts and Peyton Manning are back in another Super Bowl. We've seen their perspective before. We are going to hop on with Washington football team. Colts went 14-3. They've got a very good team. It's a really high-powered offense. But what is this Washington football team working with? Who's their quarterback at this point? Patrick Ramsey. Huh. Interesting. Ooh, Bob Sanders, Champ Bailey, that's right. Haloti Ngata. This is a pretty good defense. LeVar Arrington ended up retiring way earlier than you probably remember. I don't think he played even to age 29. Yeah, LeVar Arrington, 2000 to 2006, and he retired at age 29. His last season was 28 with the Giants. He was so good and then wasn't. 3 Pro Bowls early in his career with Washington's football team, and then not good after that. Fred Smoot is looking frightening. Don't blink. Oh, don't blink. I don't like it. I don't like it. Got Champ Bailey on show roll. This is a really good defense. It's a really good looking defense. Love Champ Bailey in the Broncos jersey in his picture, by the way. Washington up early, 13-0, but the Colts struck very quickly. 75-yard bomb to Marvin Harrison, but it doesn't really seem to matter much. This Washington defense has been exceptional, and the offense has not really stopped moving. But the Colts, they're making a tiny comeback. It's too late now. There's 40 seconds left, and they don't have the ball. And Washington will not allow Peyton Manning to get Super Bowl number 2. As Patrick Ramsey, again, I know you probably don't remember Patrick Ramsey looking quite like that. You're going to have to go with me here. And yeah, the Washington football team, that's absolutely what they were known at the time. And they were known as that. Yeah, for sure. Nice Super Bowl. This mock draft is interesting. I think Levi Brown actually was taken by the Cardinals, or at least played on them at some point. Jamarcus Russell to the Cowboys, number 1 overall at LSU. Wouldn't complain about that. Joe Thomas to the Bills. Calvin to the Bears. The Jags get Ted Ginn Jr. You know what? That is a pretty Jags pick around that time. Patrick Willis to the Steelers. He does feel like a Steeler to me a little bit. Darrelle Revis to Denver. Adrian Peterson to the Panthers. He's going to start being very good there. The Giants get Aaron Ross, who is actually they took in real life. I was so excited at the time. Did not really work out. Marshawn Lynch to the Eagles. LaRon Landry, John Beeson in there. Joe Staley to the Raiders. Dwayne Bowe to the Packers could be very interesting. And then, I mean, that is not what Paul Posluszny looks like. I think I said that, but also it really isn't. And that's not what Eric Weddle looks like. Again, doesn't matter too much. Ooh, Charles Woodson is headed to the 49ers. I mean, he's synonymous with a Bay Area team, but it's the Oakland Raiders. Not the Las Vegas Raiders. Oakland at the time, of course. But the San Francisco 49ers are getting a very good Charles Woodson, who even really got better into his 30s. I mean, he was a multiple-time All-Pro, led the league in interceptions at like 34, 35. Pro Bowler from 08 to 2011 and other seasons before, but this is deep into his career. Age 32 to 35. All-Pro in 09 and 11 as a 33 and 35-year-old. Led the league in picks both seasons. So his best football could be ahead of him. It's not because it's Madden, he's going to regress, but it could be. Walter Jones to the Cowboys, getting a very good offensive lineman. Of course, he was awesome with Seattle. Adam Vinatieri trying to solve the Vikings kicking woes since ever. Is not what Vontae Leach looks like. He was pretty sick, to be honest. Okay, let's see what happens in the draft. Of course, legendary draft class. And the Cowboys take Jamarcus Russell. A fine selection, if I do say so myself. Joe Thomas headed to Buffalo. The Cardinals get Levi Brown. The Bears take Calvin. The Falcons go with Gaines Adams. The Jags take Ted Ginn Jr. Steelers grab Patrick Willis. The Saints with Jamal Anderson. And not what he looked like. No, Mobi Okoye to the Chargers, who was only 19 at the time of being drafted. Darrelle Revis does go to the Broncos. Adrian Peterson to the Panthers. Leon Hall to the Ravens. We'll do a couple more here. Giants get Aaron Ross. The Eagles get Adam Carricker. Not what he looked like. And LaRon Landry does go to Tennessee. Who are some big ones that you guys did not see? Marshawn Lynch to the Rams. Raiders got Joe Staley. Greg Olsen to the Chargers. Marshall Yanda was drafted as a tackle, by the way, not a guard. He's going to Pittsburgh. Very good draft class for them. Two potential Hall of Famers there. Eric Weddle to the Colts. Lamar Woodley to the Bears. Lawrence Timmons to the Patriots. I mean, this is a really good draft class overall, I would say. Simulating the 2007 season, we have the Washington football team taking on the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. Let's go ahead and see the other matchups. Patriots, Chiefs, Bengals got the 1 seed. Rams got the 1 seed in the NFC. Got Broncos, Ravens, Colts, Raiders, Bucks, Cardinals, and Falcons, Packers. Fun wildcard week ahead. Patrick Ramsey put up numbers. Best in the league. 5,100 yards, 38 TDs, also best in the league. Andrew Walter continues to play well. Luke McCown is putting up numbers. Travis Hobson, I don't even know who that is. This is why these videos get crazy. You never know what's going to happen. Philip Rivers, 37 touchdowns with the Lions. Probably a big part of why they're actually playing well. Matt Schaub, too. Rushing, Clinton Portis continues to go off. Just be amazing. 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns. Amon Green, Sean Alexander, quite good as well. Anyone new in here? Larry Johnson. Adrian Peterson had a very good rookie year. Second in the league in touchdowns. And Marshawn Lynch up there too. Now, why Adrian Peterson is listed as experience 1 and Marshawn Lynch rookie? Yeah, you know what it is. Panthers did not make the playoffs and the Rams did. That's got to be what it is. Andre Johnson's dominance continues. Crazy numbers. Led the league in yards and probably right up there in touchdowns. No, he's not. David Boston had 17 touchdowns. Joseph Lucas with 13. Robert Ferguson. Who are these players? Jericho Cotchery continues to be a beast. Barrett Ruud doing what he did with the Bucks. Right at the top of the league in terms of tackles. Terrell Suggs killing it. 25 tackles for loss. 16.5 sacks. Although Justin Smith, who wasn't really even a big pass rusher, 20.5 sacks. Kevin Carter had 20. Takeo Spikes continues to kill it. Tommy Harris at 17. Cam Wake, undrafted, was on the Giants practice squad, or at least off-season team. Ended up dominating the CFL, working his way back to the NFL as a starter and killed it with the Dolphins. But he's skipping all that because he was a super big draft steal. Now he's developing, and he had an amazing 30s, by the way. Cam Wake was insane, but real late into his career. Also, the extra space in Will Smith's name really bothering me. Look at that. I noticed it earlier, didn't do anything about it. It's time to make a change. Corey Webster and Michael Boulware led the league in interceptions. William Gay in there. I guess the Y doesn't work because they censor the word gay. Terrence McGee, Antoine Bethea, Champ Bailey putting up good numbers. Even OJ Atogwe's in there. Super Bowl 62 has the Cowboys led, I guess, Jamarcus Russell. There's no way he's the starter, so it's got to be somebody else. And the Broncos with Clinton Portis. That is interesting. Let's see actually what happened here. Falcons made it all the way to the NFC Championship. Bengals did in the AFC. but Broncos and Cowboys is the matchup. Matt Nagy was the head coach in Washington. We're going to take over for Denver. Clinton Portis is a 99 overall. Looks like oh, Jesus. Oh, man. I'm never ready for it. No, of course, Miami guy. He's a 99 overall. Never would end up being traded to Washington, and Champ Bailey sticking where he is. V-Jax is in here. And then look at this LB core. Al Wilson, Nick Barnett, Ian Gold. Yeah, Ian, of course. Dante Hall is in here. I'm assuming Dante Hall. Trevor Price, by the way. It's D'Angelo Hall. Not Dante. D'Angelo Hall, the another Washington guy. So they didn't get the Washington corner in Champ Bailey. They get it in D'Angelo Hall. Trevor Price still here. And they have Darrelle Revis. We saw him get drafted. And he's a rookie. And he's also amazing. It's a really good Broncos team. Like seeing him make it very far in the playoffs. And they're facing the Dallas Cowboys. See what happens. 21-9 in favor of the Broncos. Cowboys just really can't get on the board, but suddenly they take the lead. Broncos trying to make some stuff happen to get back on top. I'm sure they can do it. I believe in them. Tony Romo is the Broncos starter, by the way. Did I miss that? I mean, I must have, right? How did I not even look at their quarterback? It's Tony Romo. Huh. Oh, Clinton Portis is also white. Romo airing it out deep. One-on-one. And that is broken up in the end zone. I thought that was going to be a touchdown. But it is 4th and 10. 4-down territory for the Broncos here from midfield. They need 10 yards. And they probably will take the lead with a field goal at minimum. Romo throwing it and intercepted it to his real-life team. And the Dallas Cowboys may be able to just run the ball out and win another Super Bowl. Now, their playoff record in the 2000s and 2010s, horrible. It's like 2-7, 2-9, something really, really, really awful. But here they are in the Super Bowl with a chance to win one in video game land for the first time since the 90s. Let's see if they can manage to do it. It's 2007 now. We're into the future. And the Cowboys are your Super Bowl champions. 29-24 is the final. And Tony Romo gets to watch the Cowboys, who he really has no attachment to, by the way, win the Super Bowl. 2008 was an interesting class. Jake Long and Chris Long, no relation back-to-back. Matty Ice is in here, but a lot of busts. Like, a lot of them. And I think 2009 is no different. Ooh, the Giants getting Matty Ice. Darren McFadden, if he stays healthy, could be very good. Could be very cool. Vernon Gholston. The Jets make a very good choice by taking Dwayne Brown over Vernon Gholston. Gerard Mayo to the 49ers. BRC to the Titans. Joe Flacco to the Lions. They already have a quarterback in Phillip Rivers. They don't need Joe Flacco. Aqib Talib to the Bears. Matt Forte to the Colts is very, very cool. Rashard Mendenhall to the Falcons. They're getting a lot of running backs. Ooh, Broncos going big. Jay Ratliff, Mike Brown, Eric Steinbach. Let's see the top 100. Bubba Franks to the Packers. Yeah, that makes sense. Bubba Franks only played 8 of his 9 years with the Packers. Sean Alexander to the Chicago Bears. Patrick Surtain to the Texans. Patrick Kearney to the Bucks. Roddy White hitting free agency. He's headed to the Motor City to team up with Phillip Rivers and maybe even Matt Ryan for some reason. Bryant McKinney to the Niners. He was a Niner, right? I know Vikings primarily, but I think he was also on the 49ers. Oh, he wasn't. I don't know why I thought that. Interesting. Ray Lewis. Oh my goodness, dude. First, we had James Harrison going from the Steelers to the... Where'd he go? It wasn't the Bengals. In real life, it was. But where did he go in this? It's another AFC. Browns, maybe? Was it the Browns? I mean, it was either Browns... And now it was the Ravens. But now Ray Lewis going from the Ravens' lifetime to the Bengals. Unreal. Talk about a stab in the back. Stab in the back? Stab. Ray Lewis murdered people. Entree roll to the Cowboys. Some of you don't get that when I lay those subtle dry jokes in there, you go, what? Did he even realize what he said? Yes, I did realize. I did realize what I said. So I decided to ruin the joke on that occasion by repeating the punchline, but you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. It's late. I'm tired. I've been tired. I think it's affecting the quality of the video. I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'll see you guys in 3 seconds video time, but many hours my time. The 2008 NFL Draft is here, and the Saints are picking at number 1 overall. I'm assuming that they're going to go Jake Long. It's just probably, or Chris Long. No, well, I thought they were going to take Jake Long. They take Chris Long instead at number 1 overall. Jake Long probably the next pick to the Chargers, and here the Giants are at 3. They go with Matt Ryan. We saw that earlier. That was prediction. It does come to fruition. Darren McFadden, maybe he stays healthy in his NFL career, could be quite good. Ooh, the Browns take a bust in Glenn Dorsey, but maybe he has a good career. Who knows? Dwayne Brown to the Jets. It's a good decision. Vernon Gholston to the Seahawks. They have never taken a bad player in the first round, surely. Joe Flacco to the Bills. Delaware by way of Pitt. He was a Pitt transfer. Cedric Ellis to the Steelers. And the last pick of the top 10 is Gerard Mayo to the Niners. He goes top 10. CJ 2K ended up going to Cincinnati. That could be quite a fun one. Aqib Talib to the Bears. DRC to the Titans. What else? Felix Jones to the Raiders. I think that was predicted when we saw the mock draft. Felix Jones is rated too high, probably. That's got to go down. But also was pretty good, and I'll pull it up on screen. He might be the oldest looking 20-year-old of all time. This is Felix Jones when he was in college. Just want everyone to know that. He was in college here. That's Darren McFadden, by the way. Pretty cool. Does he not look 60 years old? Poor Felix Jones, man. There it is. Face 13. That is what I'm talking about for Felix Jones. Yeah, now he looks good in 70. Running backs should be a little bit higher because of the way they develop, and they usually are rated higher in the draft, but I think 74, 73 overall, something in that range, is a little bit better for Felix Jones based on his NFL career. This Broncos team would make the playoffs. Looks like somebody's about to retire. And we have Chargers, Broncos. Patriots grab the 1 seed. Oh, maybe the Tom Brady dynasty is finally coming to fruition. Ravens, Raiders, Jags, Jets in the NFC. You have Giants, Washington, Bucks, Panthers, and Cardinals, Bears. Packers grab the 1 seed. But this is interesting because the entire main theme, and I'm not sure what the title is at this point, but I think it might involve Tom Brady, is about the Patriots dynasty, and we haven't really seen them do a whole lot at the moment. But as you can see, Tom Brady is up to a 99 overall. He got a little bit of a spray tan, maybe. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But of course, he does have his correct picture in game. He is a 99 overall. This is a really, really good team. Wow, David Pollock from Game Day ended up progressing really, really nicely. He had a huge injury, and I want to say maybe his first NFL game, and then he tried to come back and got injured again. Yeah, David Pollock was a 3-time first-team All-American, and then went first round with the Bengals, of course. Oh, and he's from New Brunswick, New Jersey. I know where that is. And with his professional career, he was a reserve until their 6th game, and then he missed 2 games to a sprained knee, but still ranked 2nd on the team with 4.5 sacks. And then in his 2nd season, he broke his 6th cervical vertebrae on a first quarter's tackle on Ruben Drones. Man, Ruben Drones is a name I have not seen in a while. He reportedly suffered no paralysis, but was carted off the field on a stretcher and had to go into surgery to fuse the 2 vertebrae together. And then just his injury was determined to be career ending. But it's nice to see him get a second chance and develop into being a really nice player. He's on Game Day. I'm sure you guys have seen him if you watch any college football. Aaron Rodgers led the league in passing, continues to kill it. Did the Bucks make the playoffs? I really don't remember. But he is looking very, very, very good. Of course, only 26 years old. So Aaron Rodgers had his career basically, I want to say cut short, but then you think about the end, like, oh, did he get injured? Did he retire early? But no, he was just benched the first 4 years of his career because of Brett Favre. But Phillip Rivers in here did very well. Donovan McNabb continues to play well. Patrick Ramsey and Andrew Walter and even Travis Hobson continue to put up really good numbers. Luke McCown there. Marquise Tuiasosopo. Like a little bit of some weird names in there. Eli Manning to the Jags. That never would have happened. Who else? Anyone weird in here? Brett Favre threw 37 touchdowns. Carson Palmer continues to play pretty well. And then rushing, Clinton Portis is still a monster. LaDainian Tomlinson had one of his best years. Amon Green, Edger and James Deuce, Adrian Peterson starting to get it going. And then touchdown, Zeus McAllister at 22. Steven Jackson with 20. He averaged 6.3 yards per carry. Steven Jackson going crazy. He is a monster, though. Something really cool about Steven Jackson is like he's a big power back, but also really soft hands. Really great at catching out of the backfield. That's why my comp for him was Najee Harris, or vice versa. Antonio Bryant with a huge season with the Dallas Cowboys. Marquise Colston was real good. Dante Hall continues to play well. Andre Johnson's having a really good career up to this point. He's put up very good numbers. Patrick Willis having a very good start to his career. He is putting up extremely good numbers with the Steelers. Led the league in tackles. Brian Urlacher right behind him. Wow, Jason Taylor, 33 sacks. Aaron Schobel, 24.5. Calvin Pace, 23.5. Terrell Suggs, 22.5. D-Ware went crazy. Mario Williams had a really good season. Also, Justin Tuck is playing with Eli. It's kind of fun. Matthias Kiwanuka is in there too. Wow, crazy sack numbers. And then Junior Brooks with 6 picks. Kai Terry with 6. You know, I wonder how many of these guys are just undrafted players in the imported draft classes that somehow got playing time and developed, because that does happen. Kind of unavoidable. It's, you know, it's pretty much impossible to get a full class of undrafted players in each of these draft classes, but you know, it is what it is. I kind of wish they weren't in, but also it's like, oh, you know, we're already going into like an alternate reality. So I guess it would make sense that 1 or 2 players who didn't actually play college football could find their way in. I don't know. Work with me here. Let's see who's playing in the Super Bowl. Wow, the Super Bowl is Bucks Patriots. Oh my goodness. Tom Brady and the Patriots have made it to the Super Bowl here in 2008, and he's playing what will become his future team in real life. This one is real interesting. Patriots went 14-3. Decided to be the Bucks because the Bucks playbook is obviously being very, very good right now. So we're taking it out of the mix. When I retire the Bucks character, the playbook will change. But they have Aaron Rodgers, Delaney Walker, Marquise Colston. Is this Roy Williams? There's so many Roy Williams, you lose track of them. But he's very fast now. Nate Burleson, Donnie Avery. You guys remember Donnie Avery? Who's their running back, by the way? D. Thomas. Derek Thomas. I really thought that name would ring a bell. It doesn't at all. They have Jermon Bushrod, Jeff Backus. What an offensive line. And then defensively, Anthony Spencer, Troy Polamalu, Patrick Kearney. It's a pretty good team. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. The Patriots are on the board first, but the Bucks answer right back. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady meeting in the Super Bowl would be very cool. Won't ever happen, ever probably, as the Bucks are up 28 now, 17, 31-17, 34-17. The Patriots just didn't have enough here. And Aaron Rodgers has won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Wearing number 6 feels very weird because, of course, we all know him as, you know, number 12. Doesn't look exactly like Aaron Rodgers, but you know what? It's close enough. So, you know what? Maybe the Packers should have started Aaron Rodgers earlier. Maybe would have won a Super Bowl a bit earlier. It's not how it works, but it is a fun storyline to mess with. Aaron Rodgers defeats Tom Brady's Patriots in the Super Bowl. We're going to 2009. We do have an offseason first. We'll see what free agents move to which teams, and of course, got to import the draft class for 2009. Free agency recap. Let's see who is moving around. Rondé Barber to the Bucks. You don't say. That's what team he played for, you know, all of his career. I think Rondé Barber was a lifetime Buck. Did he play for anybody else? I don't think so. But I also didn't notice him. He is a lifetime Buck, by the way. I didn't notice him when we were looking at the team, and I would have seen him, right? Well, I guess we can just look and see where he has been. It's nice that we have league history. No, he's been with the Bucks the entire time. I just missed him maybe, or he was injured. Could have been injured, I guess. That was a close one. I forgot to load the draft class. And thankfully, I could do it in the actual week of the draft. Very interesting class 2009 is, because it is, again, as I alluded to earlier, I think from 2008, filled with busts. Jason Smith, bust. Tyson Jackson, bust. Aaron Curry, bust. Mark Sanchez, I think we can consider him a bust. Darius Hayward-Bay, huge bust. That's what BJ Raji's. I guess you can't do BJ. Is that his real name? Busari Alamu? That's BJ Raji, though. Michael Crabtree, like, obviously had a good career, but did not live up to the hype. Aaron Mabin, bust. Who else in here? I mean, Josh Freeman didn't deserve to be a first-round pick based off of his career. It was, I mean, Percy Harvin was a bust, but he also suffered viciously from concussions and things like that, where it's a little bit mean to call him a bust. Donald Brown, kind of a bust as well. There's a lot of busts. It's a little bit mean to call Percy Harvin a bust because he was really good when he played, but concussions and stuff completely ruined his career. So I hope he goes to a fun team, and we'll see what happens in this draft. Steelers at number 1 overall take Matthew Stafford. They have Big Ben. I mean, I guess they're doing what the Steelers should have done a long time ago, which is look to replace Big Ben. No, I mean, he's has been great. Just in real life, not for the past few years. Wearing number 6. He's 28. Superstar dev. The draft logic is so stupid. There isn't any logic. It's a lack of logic. Texans take Jason Smith. Bad teams stay bad. Tyson Jackson, the Cowboys. The Bengals take Aaron Curry. It's not looking good. Mark Sanchez to the Titans. There just are so many landmines that you can step on in this draft. And it seems like teams are stepping at every one. Darius Hayward-Bay to the Niners instead of Michael Crabtree this time around, as he goes the next pick to the Vikings. The Rams go ahead and get Brian Osakpo, hook 'em horns. He was really good. And then Malcolm Jenkins, he used to play corner before moving back to safety, goes to the Seahawks. BJ Raji to the Falcons. And the last one I'll show is Jeremy Maclin. And we'll see, of course, the top guys in the draft recap. There are some steals. Ray Malaluga, that's another guy. You gotta call him a bust. He had an okay-ish career, but wasn't all that good. Cowboys got LaShawn McCoy. Kind of makes up for Tyson Jackson earlier. Phil Lodeholt to the Falcons. Jared Cook to the Eagles. Clay Matthews maybe stays as a pass rusher this time. Packers moved him to off-ball at the end of his career. Kind of weird, but I guess maybe just wasn't as dominant of a pass rusher anymore. Kind of odd, because he was so good as a true pass rusher in his first couple seasons. Wearing number 52 for him is also weird. It's Ray Lewis. Jarris Byrd was actually really sick as well. He was, I want to say, won Rookie of the Year. And he had like 8 picks one year, maybe. 9 interceptions his rookie year. Yeah, he was pretty decent. Multiple-time Pro Bowler. Julian Edelman also in this class as well. Johnny Knox, dude. What if Johnny Knox didn't have his freaking back broken on that brutal hit? He would have been unbelievable. I mean, he had a really good start to his career. It was just that brutal injury just took him out. He had a 3-year career. He had 960 yards his second season and 5 touchdowns, just cut short. Mike Wallace had a pretty good career as well. I mean, there are some decent players in this class. For sure. Now, this is about to the point of where I started the last video. However, this is the last season. I did not start with the 2010 class. I had the 2010 rookies already in the 2010 roster. So this is going to basically turn into what the other video was. However, I am doing the next decade as well with the different scenarios created in this particular world. So I think there are 2 things you could do. 1, continue watching this video and see what happens. But also, you could go and watch that other video, resetting the NFL to 2010 and watching that. But it's like a different storyline. It's like a tree and there's a branch that split off. So I guess we might as well just stay doing what we're doing. Never mind. Also, Demaryius Thomas in here, unfortunately, recently passed away. Devastating to see, you know, such a talent go so early. Really, anybody go that early, but, you know, it does stink when you see him make so many big plays over the course of his career and then, you know, pass away so early. It just sucks. The Bucs missed the playoffs. Very, very odd. Very peculiar after the Super Bowl. The Patriots grabbed the 1 seed again, though. Seahawks got the 1 seed on the other side. Titans, Ravens, Raiders, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos. And then in the NFC, Bears, Panthers, Saints, Falcons, and Washington, Los Angeles. I mean, it wasn't for lack of receiving or passing yards. Aaron Rodgers had nearly 5,000. 28 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. Derek Thomas had too many touches, probably. Pierre Thomas is in here as well, the New Orleans Saints player. Marquise Colston still putting up good numbers. Nate Burleson and Delaney Walker as well for their respective positions. And then defensively, DeQuell Jackson. Remember DeQuell Jackson? He was real good with the Browns, and then later the Colts, of course. Tony Randolph, not a real player. Must be one of these undrafted guys. He's up to an 81 overall as a 28-year-old, so good for him. Led the league, or yeah, led the Bucs in tackles for loss. Why am I looking at only the Bucs? Hold on. I think I'm doing a rebuild here. Let's go back to the league. Phillip Rivers led the league in passing yards. Matt Schaub and the Bengals right behind him. Carson Palmer and the Browns. I feels wrong. Andrew Walter up there. Patrick Ramsey continues to put up all-time great numbers. He's a superstar X Factor. Very interesting. 44 passing touchdowns for him. Luke McCown's number 2. So this world is insane. Aaron Brooks continues to have a pretty good career. And then Clinton Portis is still the best running back of all time. I forgot he didn't have a face. MJD with 20 touchdowns. 21 from Michael Turner. How did Edgerrin James end up on the Vikings? I did not see that happen. I didn't see it happen in free agency. Did I miss the free agency recap? I don't think so. How did he end up on the Vikings? I don't know. I have no idea. Marshawn is having a pretty good career with the Rams. Adrian Peterson, slow and steady. Steven Jackson is most impressive, though. Ew, Willis McGahee. Ricky Williams still putting up good numbers. Receiving, what do we have? Hines Ward, killing it. Andre Johnson every year is going to be up there. Marquise Colston, Dwayne Bowe, Tyree Bates, Miles Austin, Eric Johnson. Some of these names, like Tyree Bates and Eric Johnson, not really ringing huge bells. Same thing with Juan Parnell and LaRon Whitaker. Could be those undrafted guys that snuck in. Deion Watkins. I don't know many of these names, man. Cordell Drummond, DeAndre Bailey. Who are all these randoms catching touchdowns? They're not even like high overalls. They're just, I suppose, a product of the offense. And then defensively, Dan Morgan leads the league in tackles. Quika Mitchell right behind him. Remember him. Calvin Pace with a ton of tackles for loss. And Albert Haynesworth had 20 sacks. No, he didn't. That looks nothing like Albert Haynesworth. That looks like a freaking TSM myth. You guys know who that is. Tommy Harris with 25 and a half? What are you talking about? No shot. D tackle, please. Stop. I mean, it's 3 out of the top 4 D tackles. Jared Allen putting up pretty good numbers with the Brownies. Darrelle Revis leads the league in interceptions with 7. Champ Bailey I just saw with 5. Yeah, Revis Island seems like he's developing pretty nicely out in Denver. And then Champ Bailey. His coverage really isn't too good. I wonder if he's regressing. Ike Taylor started catching interceptions. Hell must have frozen over. Ike Brickhands Taylor. Super Bowl time, but we'll check out this team first. Very interesting. It's a great offensive line for Chicago with Orlando Pace, Ronald Leary, Olin Kreutz, right? Some really good offensive linemen. Sean Andrews even as well, who is up to a 94 overall, 96 with morale. And then the offense continues with guys like Calvin Johnson. They have older Sean Alexander, who's still good. Julius Jones, Chad Pennington is their starter. And then defensively, of course, Brian Urlacher still sticking around. But they have Mario Williams, Aqib Talib, Lamar Woodley. Is this Ziggy Hood? Doesn't look very much like Ziggy Hood, but that's okay. And then they have Calais Campbell, too. So they have a very, very, very good team. Calais Campbell is only, what, 23 years old? Whew. So this team could continue to get even better. You know what we could do for this team? because Lamar Woodley really is not like a true end. And as Ernie Sims is not really even a true like rush end. We can move Calais Campbell to a defensive tackle. He pretty much plays that, or has played that at times in his career anyway. He is more of a 3-4 defensive end. But if he's going to stick in a 4-3, we could stick him at deep tackle, and we'll see what happens over time. You know, Urban Meyer is actually the head coach of this team, which is very interesting. Very interesting. But we will pop in here and see if the Bears can defeat the Raiders. 87 overall to their 85. They have Barrett Ruud, who's up to Superstar X Factor. Steven Jackson. Derek Gibson's not a name I remember. Could be a random player that just happened to develop. There's potential for that. Nope, Derek Gibson was a real player for the Raiders. Didn't last up to this point in his career. He retired after 2006, or at least couldn't find a team after his age 27 season, where he only started one game. Didn't record a single interception or anything like that. So he's stuck around here. Jacoby Jones, forgot all about him. But he does have a huge kickoff return touchdown in a Super Bowl for the Ravens. Looks like it didn't happen in this game. Raiders up on top 7-0. And now 14-0. The Bears can't manage any points. I was going to say muster, and then that didn't feel right. 13-14. Bears are down. Raiders go back on top 21-13. Let's go ahead and watch a quick drive. Of course, you've seen a little bit of Marquise Tuiasosopo in this video. He's been putting up very good numbers somehow. Wow. Chad Pennington looks unfamiliar. He's got dreadlocks, dude. He looked like he was white in his picture, but there he is. He's got dreadlocks. Yeah, that does not look like Chad Pennington. That's, to me, the funniest part of this video, is all the players that don't look anything like their picture for some reason. But the Bears need a touchdown very badly. Of course, in a go-for-2 situation, if they do score with just over 4 minutes to play, Pennington will go short. That is a nice tackle made in the flat. 3rd and 6. Bears need a first down, and I think they may have got it with forward progress. We'll see where the ball is marked, and it's going to be just short. 4th and inches. Game is essentially on the line for the Bears. Pennington operating out of the shotgun. Here's a snap. Pennington throwing over the middle and caught. First down, Chicago, and Ronald Leary's down for the Bears. Not a good time to have a starting guard injured. Throw the ball to Calvin Johnson. Don't be stupid. Get it to Calvin. Pennington rolling out right. He's going to get sacked. It's John McCargo. Who remembers John McCargo? Me, for some reason. It's a big play. 3rd and 5 after the 2-minute warning. Pennington, quick throw, and that should be a first down against like a very, very like soft coverage. And that was close, but they do award the first down. Throwing end zone touchdown. The Bears do need the 2-point conversion, though, as Bryant with another big catch on this drive. 1:40 to go. They are going for 2. Raiders with everyone on the goal line nearly. What do the Bears decide to do? They're going to throw. Pennington to the end zone, and that's a touchdown. 2-point conversion at least, I should say, as Reed has made a couple big catches on this drive as well. And it's 21-21 as the Raiders will have a chance to win it. 2-minute drill, game-winning drive. Let's see what they got. Tuiasosopo airing it out, and that is caught on the sideline, but out of bounds. Did not get 2 feet down. How is that even close? It's insane. Raiders only with 168 passing yards in this game. 2nd and 10. Tuiasosopo going deep again. 1-on-1, and that's caught, but out of bounds again. There is a flag, but it seems like they can just keep throwing it deep as long as it's not out of bounds. They're going to move the football, but they're going to have a little bit of help as Mario Williams has roughing the passer, and the Raiders get a free first down and 15 yards on top of that as well. Urlacher over the middle. Now's the time for him to make a big play. Season covered. Tuiasosopo has a pass batted down at the line. I believe that was Mario Williams. Tuiasosopo laser beam deep, and that is actually broken up. The Bears might get another crack at this. I don't want to see another overtime Super Bowl, man. This video is going to be 5 hours long as is. Trying to speed it up a little bit. But these overtime Super Bowls are not helping. Not at all. They're going to run the ball. They have a little bit of space as well. That's probably going to be enough to call a timeout. It's a nice run on 3rd and short. Now they might actually try to get a bit aggressive. I mean, Chad Pennington, not the biggest arm in the world, but we'll see. He is going to throw deep. One-on-one. Calvin has a step, and Calvin Johnson may have won a Super Bowl for Chicago. Calvin Johnson via Chad Pennington. Look at the celebration. It's the most casual Super Bowl celebration on the sideline ever. Yeah, just throw it up for Calvin. You have one of the most physically gifted receivers of all time. Physically gifted athletes of all time. Just give him a chance. He ran past the defense, caught the football, and he's going to get a Super Bowl victory. That's pretty much guaranteed. Only 16 seconds. The Raiders are going to have to do something very drastic. We've seen the jump ball potential down the field, though. And that is nearly intercepted with just 8 seconds to go. I'm not sure they're going to have more than one play here. This might be the final play of the game. We'll see how quickly they get the football out. In real life, I think you do have time to go, outside quickly or even over the middle, get down, timeout. But this is the final play of the game. He's not going to have the arm strength to get there. And that is incomplete. And the Bears have won the Super Bowl. Took a deep shot from Chad Pennington to Calvin Johnson to win it. But what a finish here in Arizona as the Bears are Super Bowl champions. Yet again. Clinton Portis with another MVP. LaShawn McCoy won Rookie of the Year. Connor Barwin, Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Texans. Well, he played on the Texans in real life. Both of those guys played on the Eagles, including Shady, who won Rookie of the Year with the Cowboys, funnily enough. And Coach of the Year goes to Griffin Murphy, a.k.a. Bill Belichick. Interesting. I always find it funny, though, when the teams in these actually draft the players they drafted, like the Texans with Connor Barwin. Wasn't particularly good there, but I do think it's fun to watch, or fun to see that, where it's like history repeats itself, even though this is an alternate timeline where none of that's happened yet, or none of that ever happened. Brandon Lloyd to the Bears. Didn't Brandon Lloyd play for the Bears for a decent amount of time in real life? Am I right about that? Had a career from 2003 to 2014. Was only on the Bears for one season. One season with the Bears, but he has signed there here. John Kuhn from the Packers to the Bears. And let's see, Jeremy Shockey to the Bengals. He is a 97 overall. Champ Bailey to the Raiders. Very interesting. Of course, the team that we just played in the Super Bowl. I say we. I mean, we are. I'm not we. I change teams pretty much every season. Tony Gonzalez to the Saints, but he's not going to team up with Drew Brees. It's going to be Aaron Brooks, who's his quarterback. And then, Julian Peterson, superstar X Factor. But not a ton of big names other than that. Remember Visanthe Shenko? Talked about him briefly in the last one. I remember him for different reasons in his playing career. There's a legendary tale of a locker room incident. Let's go ahead and move on to the draft. 2010, we have the Sam Bradford draft. And it looks like the Chiefs are going to snag him at #1 overall. And indeed, they do. The Eagles will probably take Ndamukong Suh. They do. I don't even remember what this full class looked like. Trent Williams skips his entire time in Washington, jumps straight to the team where he's in real life, gets drafted by the 49ers. Cowboys get Gerald McCoy, again, skipping his entire time in Tampa and going to the Cowboys where he was for a short amount of time. The Colts get Eric Berry. It's a pretty cool fit. Joe Hayden to Buffalo. There are some really good players in this 2010 class, including Earl Thomas. He'll go to the Green Bay Packers, one of the best players of the 2010s. Tyson Alualu doesn't very much look like him, but he skips his time. Well, I guess he was drafted by the Jags, but he obviously much better with the Steelers if you follow his career at all. But yeah, the Jags take him as they did in real life. Russell Okung to the Bears. Nope, that's not what team that is. It's Browns. Derek Morgan to the Cardinals. Giants get Brandon Graham over the Eagles, who had him in real life. JPP to the Bucks, skipping his time with the Giants, going straight to Tampa. We're seeing a lot of that. Kareem Jackson doesn't look like how he looks in real life, but goes to the Chargers. The Vikings get Jerry Hughes. Maybe we'll do one more. And it's the Steelers taking Demaryius Thomas. R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas. And so sad to see him pass away early, but we'll see how his career unfolds in this franchise. Hopefully we see him at the top of the receiving yards list here in the near future. You know, the Bears actually didn't have that bad of a draft. Got Stevie Brown, who led the league in picks one year with the Giants, I want to say, even though he wasn't very good. Yeah, I think 8. He may not have led the league, but he had a lot of picks. Al Woods, Ben Tate, J.D. Walton, and Sean Lee, who without injury would have been a very good player. Was a good player as Gronk goes to the Niners. What a draft for the 49ers. Rob Gronkowski and Trent Williams. The colleges are screwed up for a lot of these guys. Gronk was Arizona, but you see a lot of Abilene Christian because it resets to that. Let's see what else. Antonio Brown to the Chiefs. Man, talk about a steal late in the draft. Antonio Brown to Kansas City. He'll team up with Sam Bradford over time. That's quite an interesting fit. Carlos Dunlap to the Colts. Mike Iupati to the Raiders. Geno Atkins, big steal, goes to the Seahawks. The Cowboys got Jared Veldheer, who was pretty good for a while. Injuries kind of derailed his career. Des Bryant to the Panthers. He was awesome for a while, of course. And some of these overall seem lower than they should be, but the dev trait cancels it out. Devin McCourty, as you may remember, was drafted as a corner coming out of Rutgers, not a safety at the time. But Cam Chancellor was also in this draft. He splits up from Earl Thomas as Thomas to Green Bay. Cam Chancellor way south to New Orleans. Maurkice Pouncey to the Patriots, who also got Linval Joseph. Everson Griffin to the Eagles. Jimmy Graham to the Bengals, who just signed Jeremy Shockey. Darrell Washington, man, I love Darrell Washington. He was so awesome with the Cardinals and got suspended a couple times and just could never find his way back. But please, go look at Darrell Washington's Pro Football Reference page. He put up some crazy numbers. Emmanuel Sanders, Victor Cruz in here as well to the Ravens. Navarro Bowman. I mean, look how good this draft class is. Brian Bulaga, one of the best tackles in the league for a while. Greg Hardy was in this class. Yikes. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse here or a person, but Aaron Hernandez, I talked about a lot in the last video. Yeah, not a cool guy. Turns out, loved murdering people. Kind of a weird hobby. He was forced into an early retirement, had to hang up the cleats, and then something else. Bears with another good season went 12-5, as you see Aaron Rodgers, Donovan McNabb, Big Ben up there for the passing leaders. Adrian Peterson led the league in yards this time around, 22 touchdowns, although he had a ton of attempts. Willis McGahee, Marshawn Lynch right in behind. Willis McGahee obviously seems like the odd man out there, but he was so good at Miami before the injury. I think he, again, tore his ACL twice. But two Bills running backs in there, a former Bills running back. Marquise Colston, Dwayne Bowe, Jericho Cotchery, who continues to go off. Terrell Suggs had 26 sacks, and Tommy Harris had 22. Why is he putting up amazing numbers? I have no idea. Jared Allen up there. Jonathan Vilma led the league in interception somehow. Gerard Powers, Marquise Winston in there. I don't remember Marquise Winston. Very odd numbers. And Derek Johnson, Mike Walters, and Chris Lincoln led the league in tackles. I only know one name up there, and it is Hook'em Horns Derek Johnson. As we see, Vince Young is the Bears quarterback now. No more Chad Pennington. I don't know if he retired after winning the Super Bowl. I guess that could have happened. What a year from Jason Campbell with the Jets. I do not believe it. Craziness. Patrick Ramsey still putting up crazy numbers. Let's see here. Who else? MJD with the Seahawks. Matt Forte with the Colts. LaDainian Tomlinson still doing well. Edgerrin James with the Vikings. Frank Gore up there trucking along. We've seen amazing years from Clinton Portis. Took a bit of a step back. Joseph Adai. Brandon Jacobs is on the Giants. But would he have been in 2002 when this started? He may have been a rookie. See, he was in the 2005 draft, but his experience is 7 years. Are we that deep into the franchise at this point? Who's another 2005 draft guy? Alex Smith? Aaron Rodgers we'll look at, because he's right here. He has experience 6. We're in the same draft class. Consider me confused. Receiving, Marquise Colston put up insane numbers. Andre Johnson still doing it too. Miles Austin, crazy numbers with the Texans. Josh Cribbs is a receiver. He's no longer just a return man. Good stuff for the Bengals there. Jordy Nelson's on the Titans. Braylon Edwards still on the Browns. Larry Fitz to the Panthers. Demaryius Thomas, pretty good rookie year. Oh, you know what it is? Because the reason the years don't match up, because we're not through the playoffs yet. So some seasons are over, like Brandon Jacobs, for example. The Giants definitely missed the playoffs, but the Bucks are definitely in the playoffs. David Boston's still doing well. He's had a really good career. Injuries from steroids ruined his life, or ruined his career in real life. But his numbers, I mean, he's put up consistently over 1,000 yards and about double-digit touchdowns every single season. David Boston's been very good, and then defensively saw a lot of these numbers already. But we'll check out sacks here. Aaron Campman still killing it. Justin Smith is an insane pass rusher this time around. Lights out, 17 sacks. Some really interesting numbers in here. The interception logic is so bad in simulation. I will continue to say that. The Patriots grabbed the 1 seed again. They have not been able to win that Super Bowl, though, with Tom Brady. The Eagles have it on the other side. We have seen the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl before. So, will history make what it was in real life? We'll have to see. But some interesting matchups in here. We'll see what happens. The 2011 draft class was fairly legendary as well, including a guy like Aldon Smith, who, you know, had one of the best starts to a career for a pass rusher ever, and then could not stay out of his own way. I mean, dude walked into LAX and was like, I have a bomb. And they're like, do you though? And he's like, nah, I'm just joking. And that's like the worst joke ever. Not really that funny, turns out. And like he was smoking weed on like Instagram Live, and turns out that's not legal to do during the season and otherwise too at the time. So, you know, just not really a smart fella, I think, is a nice way to talk about Aldon Smith, or Aldon Smith. But yeah, what are you gonna do? The Patriots are in the Super Bowl though, and they are facing the same team that was in it just a season ago. The Bears won it last year, so I think we'll just stay on the Bears because we're already here. They have Jason Witten, by the way. I think I missed him before we were talking about the team, but Witt is on this team. Calvin is up to a 99 overall at just 24 years old. Yeah, he's pretty good. But let's check out the Patriots. Who do the Patriots have? We know Tom Brady, Richard Seymour. Brady is still a very high overall and still black, if you forgot about that. No problem with it, but it doesn't really look how he does usually. David Pollock has progressed really nicely. They have Lawrence Timmons, Larry Johnson. Tramon Williams is a superstar. They have AJ Hawk, who has developed quite nicely. Linval Joseph, we saw him get drafted. He's had a very, very good season. Major morale boost. Usually he's an 81 overall. He's playing up to an 87 as a rookie. The next Vince Wilfork. They have Sebastian Janikowski, Maurkice Pouncey. This is going to be a really tough team to beat. Let's see if Tom Brady can win his first Super Bowl. Sounds crazy to say, but this is 2010. Or, yeah, this is 2010. And Tom Brady, up to this point, had won, or I think had won 2 and played in 3. And then would play in another one in 2011, next season. So he had already won a couple Super Bowls up to this point, but none in this resim. We'll see what happens here. Very low scoring game. Patriots are threatening though, and they get their first touchdown and then score instantly. But it's 13-10 in favor of the Patriots. Bears need to get something going here. Big stop by them and a big score to make it 13-all. And now with a field goal by Chet Campbell, they will make it 16-13. And now Tom Brady will have a chance to win the game, to win his first Super Bowl. We'll see what happens. It's going to be basically a 2-minute drill. In real life, you're taking Tom Brady here every time. But what happens in the game? Can Black Tom Brady get it done? We'll have to see. Brady on 3rd and 5 will throw it, and it's intercepted by Chicago. That could be the game. Big 4th quarter interception by Tom Brady. I think it's Will Blackman who made the play. He was recently signed in free agency, as we saw. And I don't know what's going on there. Just no timing on that route, on that throw. Bad combo. Bears can win it. Just need a few first downs. Imagine they're going to run the football quite a bit. Patriots did get a stop, but they had to use all 3 timeouts. So the clock's going to tick down here. The Bears will go up by 6, which I've talked about before. You don't really want to do. Just incentivizes the defense or the offense to really try to get a touchdown. But in this situation, there is a small enough amount of time where I think it would make sense to at least have a situation where the Patriots have to score a touchdown. So I'm cool with it here. But the Pats are going to need some of that Tom Brady devil magic to go 79 yards, get a touchdown in 49 seconds with no timeouts. Brian Urlacher is in the zone, by the way. Have to see if that does anything, as Tom Brady will operate out of the shotgun, empty backfield, facing pressure. He's going to break a sack, and then he's going to shut down mentally, and Mario Williams gets him for the second time. He broke the sack. I thought we were going to see Eli Manning to David Tyree in that Super Bowl. Brady under the pressure here is not doing well. This is rough. 16 seconds to go, 89 yards. I don't think it's going to happen. That's my hot take. I don't think there's a chance. Tom Brady with all day. Eventually will air it out deep, and that is incomplete. It's going to be game over. I mean, the CPU logic is so brain dead. It's not good. It's not good. There is a flag. It's probably a hold. I don't know what else it could be. That's a great throw. Get out of here, dude. I just want to be done with this. Holding. End the Super Bowl. Decline it. Game over. The Bears are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Man, Tom Brady looked like trash. You hate to see it. But, yeah, this time it's not Chad Pennington. It's Vince Young. Hook 'em horns, leading the Chicago Bears to back-to-back Super Bowl championships. I wonder when the last time that happened. Well, I don't think it ever has. A team winning back-to-back championships with different quarterbacks. I don't think it's ever happened in the Super Bowl era, at least. It's tough enough to even get there back-to-back years, let alone with a different QB. If that has happened, I would be incredibly surprised, but I can't think of any scenario where it would. It would have had to have been like way back in the day. Bears signed Mike Adams, so I think they also had it one time in real life. And the Broncos signed Wes Welker. Seen that before. Edgerrin James to the Jaguars. Julius Peppers goes out west to the Chargers. Nathan Vasher to the Cowboys. Vontae Lees is still funny to look at. Justin Durant to the Cardinals. He was pretty good with the Jags for a while. They also got Lee Evans. Brian Waters to the Jets. Ooh, Steve Smith to Buffalo. Hasn't really developed all that well in this franchise so far. John Beeson to the Chargers as well. Marcus Trufant. A lot of interesting things going on. This draft will get real interesting. Let's view the final mock draft and see what they think is going to happen. The Cowboys getting Cam Newton, Von Miller to the Chiefs, Patrick Peterson to Washington football team, Marcel Darius. You got AJ Green to the Broncos, Alden Smith to the Texans, Julio to the Titans. Giants getting Nick Fairley, Jake Locker to the Jags. They're going to stay bad. JJ Watt to the Ravens. Ryan Kerrigan was awesome for a while. Nate Solder, yikes. It was real interesting here. Robert Quinn to the Packers. He's on the Bears in real life, of course. Cam Jordan doesn't fall to the Saints. He goes to the Panthers. Blaine Gabbert to the Raiders. Bad teams stay bad. Jarrell Jernigan. That's not how you spell his name. Jarrell Jernigan. Maybe Jernigan wasn't allowed, so they did something close. He could not have been near the first round. Why is he being projected to go round 1? He was a 3rd round pick and he's projected to go round 1. This is wild. Tyron Smith falls all the way to the Colts. Look at this. Muhammad Wilkerson was sick for a while. Cam Hayward, still awesome. This is a very interesting draft, including Colin Kaepernick to the Falcons, Andy Dalton to the Patriots. We'll have to see what actually happens, but that looks like a chaotic round 1. We'll see the top 10. Assume it's going to be as it's projected. Cam Newton does go number 1 overall to the Cowboys. The Chiefs snag Von Miller. Washington football team with Patrick Peterson. Things are looking as they were predicted. Marcel Darius to the Dolphins. There needs to be more variation in the draft order. It cannot just be, okay, pick guys in a row from the draft board, where that's just automatically what's going to happen. The draft logic doesn't exist. There needs to be draft logic. It's terribly boring when there's not. and it's unrealistic, and it makes the entire experience be crappy if you're gonna do multiple leagues, or excuse me, multiple seasons in a league, multiple seasons within that franchise. Because if you had a 99 overall quarterback who's 21 years old, literally the best case scenario, it's never gonna happen, it's too perfect. If they somehow have the #1 overall pick and the #1 player in that class is a quarterback, well, guess who's going #1 overall? It's a quarterback, and it will be a quarterback until the end of time. Anthony Costanzo working a pretty strong tan there. We will see that JJ Watt is the best player in this class, going to the Ravens, but big steal for some team in the 4th round in the form of Richard Sherman, who was the best corner in the league for a while, and he's going to the Cleveland Browns. What a steal for the Browns. Jason Kelsey to the Jaguars, going to help them out. Justin Houston to the Patriots. DeMarco Murray to the Bears. He was really good for a bit. What else? There's some steals here down the line. Was Mike Pouncey not in the same draft class as Marquise? Guess I didn't know that. They're twins. Yeah, Mike Pouncey stayed an extra year at Florida. Guess I hadn't realized that. Rodney Hudson to the Lions. Jarrell Casey to the Broncos. Skips his entire time in Tennessee, and he was with the Broncos for a little bit. KJ Wright to the Panthers. Stephen Paya to the Cardinals. Mark Ingram to the Vikings. He's okay. Randall Cobb to the Buccaneers. Doug Baldwin to the Jets. Big steal for them. Byron Maxwell as well. He was okay for a bit. Julius Thomas had like 2 years with the Broncos and then signed a huge deal with the Jags and just could not stick around. But it's an interesting draft. I'm going to change teams here to create a little bit more variation. And getting Urban Meyer out of the NFL probably isn't the worst thing. What team should we choose? I'll probably choose the worst overall team to just get them a different look. It's a pretty well-balanced league. We're going to choose the Steelers. They got Patrick Willis. Cortland Finnegan has developed really nicely. And Matthew Stafford on this team. But I just wanted to mix it up from beating the Bears. We've seen them win 2 Super Bowls in a row. So we're going to see what happens in this season. It's 2011 now. So we are getting into the back half of this video. It's been a lot of fun so far. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hit that like button if you want to do that, but please subscribe so you don't miss out on videos in the future. I like to do these kind of fun creative ideas like this, so hopefully you guys like them as well. This was a very interesting draft class 2012. Andrew Luck out of Stanford was your #1 pick. He was quite good in the league. You know, Justin Blackmon was so good at Oklahoma State and had a really good start to his career, but another guy that just could not stay out of his own way and never ended up developing. Morris Claiborne was so sick at LSU. Bad in the league. Mark Barron at Alabama, kind of the same way, although he played a different position. Luke Kuechly, very good. Stephon Gilmore would become very good. Fletcher Cox was very good. Still is. Chandler Jones. I mean, there are a bunch of really good players in this class. David DeCastro, Dante Hightower. Let's see how that develops. But as you can see, the Browns won the division. And they also grabbed the 1 seed. Patriots still in the playoffs, though. Bucks have the 1 seed on the other side. Lions have made it in. And the Raiders are back. Matt Schaub has decided to lead the league in passing yards. Kyle Orton behind him, about 200 yards shy. Joe Flacco with the Bills. Patrick Ramsey still there. Phillip Rivers, Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn? Derek Anderson? Has Dante Culpepper found his way back to Minnesota? Was he there the entire time? He might have been. Let's see. Yep, just Minnesota throughout. So he never left the Vikings. What else is going on here? Aaron Rodgers dropped off quite a bit. Andrew Walter still is the Chiefs starting quarterback. They have no, they don't have Alex Smith. They have Sam Bradford. Be interesting to see what happens with him. Charlie Fry just put up some pretty good numbers. And he doesn't look quite how I remember him. See touchdowns now. McNabb still crushing it. Kyle Orton led the league in passing touchdowns. Number of different QBs with 36, including David Carr. Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's numbers. I'm going to do the Colts next. His career has been wasted because he's been in an offense that just does not really throw the football. So his numbers have been very unimpressive compared to where he was in real life. As LaDainian Tomlinson has led the league in rushing yards, had 15 touchdowns as well. number of good players in there. We'll see 18 touchdowns from Clinton Portis, Frank Gore at 18, Lawrence Maroney at 18. Clinton Portis is going to be a Hall of Famer in this, which is pretty crazy. Oh, geez, I forgot about that. It's been a few days since I last recorded, but look at his career. He averages like 1,600 yards a season, even though it's never been exactly that number. Maybe even more. And maybe like 17 touchdowns. Some crazy stuff going on there. And then receiving, Marquise Colston continues to just crush it. He's turning into one of the best receivers of all time, putting up numbers like he does. There's Demaryius Thomas at the top of the league. Good to see. Brandon Marshall, Andre Johnson continuing to crush it. Jericho Cotchery, Santonio Holmes. Interesting. Miguel Vega. Can't be a real player. And there are going to be some of those guys that sneak in just because the sheer number of receivers. Vernon Davis putting up wild numbers, by the way. As a tight end, wild numbers. Well, the Ravens have Clay Matthews and J.J. Watt. We remember we saw him get drafted. Still a lot of the usual suspects putting up crazy sack numbers. Same kind of guys we've been seeing in there. Alan Pritchett with 6 picks leads the league. Revis Island in there too. Rams, Broncos in the Super Bowl. Let's hop on with the Rams here. I don't think we've used them. The Rams have Mike Tomlin as their head coach. No wonder they've made it to the Super Bowl. Good coaching will do that for you. Let's go ahead and see this Rams team. We know they have Marshawn Lynch. Who's their quarterback? Kyle Orton. We did just see that. They also have Matt Leinart. Luke McCown is a superstar. Craziness. They have Brandon Marshall. This is a very odd-looking team. Marcus Cannon has superstar dev. What is going on? Defensively, who is this? Jonathan Sewell. Not a real player, but has managed to find the field and develop. They have Darrell Washington. Dude, what is this cornerback group? Keenan Drake. Another not real. This is just like the not real player team. Is this Chris Harris, though? Yeah, they do have superstar dev rookie Chris Harris. Captain Munnerlin. Devin McCourty. Across the line, Muhammad Wilkerson. Jonathan Babineau. Matthias Kiwanuka as a superstar dev now. Very odd-looking team. Broncos up 14-3 right now. The Rams can only get a few field goals up. And they get another one. That makes a few. And another one. 21-12. 21-15. What is going on in this game? Final minute. Let's see what happens. Rams with the football. A touchdown could win them the game. So let's see what happens. It's a quick throw to the flat. Highly productive play there, Kyle. Throwing deep, and that is caught on the sideline. 20-yard completion, and the Rams have moved down the field so quickly. They could very easily score here. Run by Marshawn Lynch, and that is a touchdown. Beast mode finds the end zone. Yeah, maybe if you're in the Super Bowl and you need to win the game, maybe give it to Marshawn Lynch. Pete Carroll could learn a thing or two from that. Rams up by 1. The Broncos trying to answer. Cyborg Clinton Portis motioned out. He's wide left, empty backfield. Quarterback to throw. Finds a receiver. That's a big dude. Who is that? I don't know who that tight end is, but Tony Romo gets the completion, trying to lead his team to a Super Bowl win. Romo airing it out deep. Jump ball. Incomplete. I think that was a jump ball for Wes Welker. That makes sense that wasn't completed. I think the tight end might be Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, it is. M. Lewis. He looks huge. As Romo was going to find him again. That's Mercedes Lewis up to about midfield. Should have been a timeout there for Denver, no question, but they're going to hold on to their 3. Romo dropping back once again. Clinton Portis is open in the flat. He's going to find him. Clock will stop. Romo under pressure. He's getting brought down. Broncos forced to use a timeout. That is a huge play by the Rams defense. 3rd and 20 now. Impossible down and distance for the Broncos. Romo under pressure. Nearly sacked again. That was Babineau. And the Broncos will have one big shot here. It's 4th and 20. They got to do something. Need to go to the other 40. What can they do? Last ditch effort. Romo to throw, obviously. Going deep. Has a jump ball. And they're going to call that incomplete. That's so tough because I don't think he got 2 feet down, but did a knee go down? That would count. I don't think you can call that a catch. That is 1 foot down, and that is a hand out of bounds. That is not a catch. Great effort from Vincent Jackson, but that will be incomplete. And the Rams will hold on to be Super Bowl champions. They're going to give him the first? He had 1 foot. What could they have possibly seen to overturn that? You need to get either an elbow, a knee, a shin, anything. Shoulder, head down would work. But he had 1 foot, and then his hands and stuff came down out of bounds. Clinton Portis up the middle. We're going to see a final timeout by Denver, and surely a game-winning field goal. And the officiating, the referees have decided the Super Bowl winner based on a terrible call. He had 1 foot. That was it. This is not college football. This is not Riverside Royals Dynasty on the channel. And it decides the Super Bowl winner. Kick is up and good, and the Broncos will win a Super Bowl. Oh, the Rams got absolutely cheated. Look at them celebrate. Unreal. I mean, not that they didn't fight hard. Yeah, played well, but they shouldn't have won. They should not have won the game. What a matchup, by the way. Kyle Orton and Tony Romo. Some legends of the game. Tony Romo was significantly better than Kyle Orton, if memory serves correct, but Kyle Orton, he had a season or 2 or 3. Matt Schaub wins MVP. Cam Newton and Cam Jordan are your rookies of the year, and Jason Hatcher won Defensive Player of the Year. This is an odd reality. Sean Taylor, now 30 years old, has signed with the Panthers. Steven Jackson up to Minnesota. Kevin Williams to the Jets. Ty Cohn, can't be a real player. Tom Brady, after not being successful with the Patriots, and not that he wasn't successful, but not winning the Super Bowl, has gone to the Ravens at 36 years old. Is regressing a bit too. D'Angelo Hall to the Cowboys. Dwayne Brown goes to the team that actually drafted him, the Texans. He'll sign there, get there one way or another. Orlando Pace goes to the 49ers. Orlando will team up with Trent Williams, one of the best tackles of all time. Teams up with one of the best tackles of the 2010s and 2020s so far in Trent Williams. Nnamdi Asomugha goes to the Ravens, who of course drafted him in real life where he was awesome with them. Ray Rice, of course, is in here. Yikes. Now, it's tough to find a hard-hitting running back like Ray Rice, but turns out it's better to have it on the field than in an elevator against your wife. Hot take there, but it's true. RG3 goes #1 overall, though. The Bills take Robert Griffin III with 3 Fs. So Andrew Luck goes to the 49ers. Dolphins get Trent Richardson. Yikes. Matt Khalil to the Vikings. It's what happened in real life. He was not good there. Justin Blackmon to the Chiefs. Mo Claiborne to the Bears. Jets get Ryan Tannehill. Cowboys with Michael Floyd. And then the Giants snag Dontari Poe. See how the rest of the draft transpires. Giants with Dontari Poe and Melvin Ingram as well. Reset the Colts head coach. As you can see, Luke Kuechly goes to the Colts. Bobby Wagner to the Bears. Andrew Luck to the Niners. We saw that. Russell Wilson to the Eagles. That's a rumor in real life, or one of them. Chandler Jones to Seattle. Stephon Gilmore to the Texans. Saints get Levante David. Real good Fletcher Cox. We got Josh Gordon to the Jets. Maybe in virtual land he can stay out of trouble. We'll have to see. Harrison Smith, the hitman to the Chargers. Mitchell Schwartz to the Broncos. Casey Hayward finds his way to the Chargers like he did in real life, even though he wasn't drafted there. Of course, Packer first. Damon Harrison to the Patriots. Alshon goes to Minnesota. What else is interesting in here? T.Y. Hilton. Not Hinton, of course. I think Hilton was banned. Keem Hicks to the Cardinals. Marvin Jones to the Eagles. Brandon Brooks to Buffalo. Olivier Vernon finds the Steelers. Bunch of good players here. Mike Daniels, who was pretty good on the Packers, goes to the Packers. Cowboys won the division. Very bad for the NFC East all around, though. Do want to see the teams in the playoffs as we are here in the 2012 season. Broncos get the 1 seed. Packers get the 1 seed. Tom Brady and the Ravens have made the playoffs, if he is indeed their starter. Brady had a really good season, though, but Donovan McNabb, 5,200 yards. Adrian Peterson, near 1850s, just over 17 touchdowns as well. Clinton Portis, 27 touchdowns. Dwayne Bowe and Golden Tate put up great numbers. I think Peter Douglas might be fake. Lamar Woodley, Jared Allen, Will Smith, all 20-plus sacks. Leon Hall had 7 picks. Oh, man. Jason Campbell now on the Packers. I think he was on the Jets last year, right? I believe so. Alex Smith starting for the Cardinals. Carson Palmer still sticking around. 45 touchdowns over Tom Brady. 18 picks. He's playing up to a 92. Maybe he wins the Super Bowl with the Ravens. That would be crazy. Cam Newton with the Cowboys, putting up good numbers, of course. He's still very, very young. Andrew Luck, quite a good rookie year for him. But the Niners miss out on the playoffs. And then rushing, we know Adrian Peterson put up very good numbers, but LaShawn McCoy, very good year from him. Clinton Portis at 27 TDs, as we saw. Jamal Charles with the Steelers, now getting a lot of snaps. Good to see that. Bunch of still crazy touchdown numbers for some of these players. Lawrence Maroney at 18. Dwayne Bowe leads the league in yards. Golden Tate right there. Marquise Colson continues to crush it. Demaryius Thomas still up there. Antonio Brown developing really nicely, it looks like. He's up to a 90 overall at just 24 years old. Route running is great. Short route running should be pretty good, but it's not. They're just not developing it. You see some crazy numbers. Is that just 2 Roy Williams? Let's see, quarterback sacks. Lamar Woodley at the top. I mean, a lot of the same guys we've seen. Dwight Freeney right up there. J.J. Watt putting up good numbers too. I mean, this Ravens team might be one to look out for. Leon Hall at the top too. So, I mean, if you take 2 of the top sack getters in the league, and then the guy who led the league in picks, plus Tom Brady, I mean, you might have a recipe for success there. We'll see if they make the Super Bowl. And the Ravens have made it to the Super Bowl. The Bears are back. They cannot be stopped. I guess we'll check in with the Ravens. Frank Gore, Clay Matthews, J.J. Watt, Tom Brady, Nick Sirianni is their head coach. Let's see what happens. We know this team's pretty good. 91 overall, though, is higher than I probably would have guessed, even with the morale boosts. Who are these receivers? They have Victor Cruz, though. Felix Jones, their line's amazing. Brian Bulaga, Nick Mangold, Todd Heap still sticking around, Logan Mankins. And then defensively, Glover Quinn's developed quite nicely. They have Cato June at Superstar X Factor. D'Amico Ryans, Clay Matthews, J.J. Watt. It's an interesting team. I mean, look at Alteron Werner even as their 4th corner. Not bad. Now, I remember 2013 being a pretty bad draft class. I want to say this was horrible. This is one of the worst drafts in recent memory. I mean, look at this. Let's even try to think of any good players on here. Lane Johnson's one. Eric Fisher, I would maybe give you as being like at least good. Obviously not in the same conversation as Lane Johnson, but wasn't worth the #1 overall pick. Ziggy Ansah's tough. I mean, I can't give you DJ Fluker or Chance Warmack. Sheldon Richardson won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he's been fine. Starla Tulele was fine. Vaccaro was fine. Eric Reed was pretty good. Justin Pugh at times. Kyle Long for sure. Tyler Eifert. Desmond Trufant for a while. Sharif Floyd's career was done from injuries, but he was good. Xavier Rhodes for a while was great. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, but overall, feels like a really weak class. There are some studs. Darius Slay was in there too, but not great. Can Tom Brady win his first Super Bowl with the Ravens? Bears up 10-6. Ravens trying to keep going. They've only mustered 9 points, and they now take the lead here late in the 4th quarter. It's time to step in. Matt Leinart, now the quarterback for the Bears. in the same decade, the Bears might win the Super Bowl 3 times with 3 different quarterbacks. That would be insane. Leinart to throw. Yeah, what a freaking arm he has, huh? What a release. 3rd and 2. Leinart just checking down. I think that's going to be short. It's 4th and inches. Even though that ball is over the line. Look at the center, dude. 4th and inches. Do they run? They won't. Leinart to throw and finds a receiver. Good catch in traffic. And that will be a 1st down. Chicago still in this. It's Pierre Garçon with the catch. Leinart to the end zone, and they've got the touchdown. This one not over yet, but obviously, again, we talked about this last time. Tom Brady has a chance to win it. This could finally be his moment. Can Black Brady win a Super Bowl? We'll find out. Tom Brady's wearing number 8, by the way. I mean, that's just Lamar Jackson at that point. Like, get a new gimmick, Tom. Brady trying to escape. He actually somehow managed to break a sack and throw the football away. What is his break sack rating? They're going to punt? I mean, I guess, but like, I'm just not trying to see another overtime Super Bowl. I've talked about this already. Stop it. Go win a Super Bowl, Matt Leinart. Can't believe I even just said those words. But it's possible. Is this field goal range? It kind of is. Yeah, the Bears just going to be content to run this. Ravens going for that football, though. This is not an easy field goal. It's still fairly deep. They had the football on the 33. It'll probably be about a 46-yard field goal. You know, with the, I think, 3-yard drop. But I think that is pretty much going to guarantee it. Field goal up and good. The Bears have won another Super Bowl with another quarterback. And you know what? It kind of makes sense because the Bears have never been one of those teams that has a legendary quarterback ever. Like Jay Cutler might legitimately be the best quarterback that played past 1950. Don't tell me Sid Luckman. Oh, Sid Luckman was the best QB I ever watched. It's like you got to be 90 years old to say that. And like Jim McMahon because he won a Super Bowl, but not really that good. Not really that good. Rex Grossman might be in the top 10 because they played in the Super Bowl. He was not good. But yeah, the Bears now have Matt Leinart winning the Super Bowl, Vince Young winning the Super Bowl. Who was the quarterback before that in this? Tony Romo? I thought he was with the Broncos. I can't remember. No, I think it was Tony Romo. Will Tom Brady ever win a Super Bowl? I'm going to say probably not. It's just so hard to even get there. They do have a really good team. I suppose they could. Andrew Luck, Chandler Jones, Rookies of the Year. Clinton Portis, another MVP. Let's do a quick all-time stat check. So some of these names are going to appear twice, obviously. There's nothing we can do about that. Who qualifies as appearing twice? Peyton Manning would be here. No, maybe just because it has the same name, it's canceled out. But for example, like Saints Drew Brees is up here. But what about Chargers Drew Brees? See, Chargers Drew Brees has 50,000 yards passing. He's 35. Patrick Ramsey in there. Rushing yards. Edgerrin James is a new #1 all time. Almost 24,000. Clinton Portis chasing him down. There's a Lions Adrian Peterson. What about Panthers Adrian Peterson? How close is he to 14K? I'm not sure. I don't know if names can pop up twice. Marvin Harrison is a new all-time leader in receiving yards over Jerry Rice. Oh my goodness. Receiving touchdowns. Jerry Rice still has a lead by a lot. Randy Moss right behind him. Jonathan Taylor, geez. Too focused on real life. Jason Taylor, or current day, I should say. Jason Taylor is the new current all-time sack leader. Patrick Kearney in there. Wild. And then interceptions. They're just, no one will get enough to ever appear in there. So this Adrian Peterson has 9,000 yards. He's wearing number 17. Will he get enough to break into the top 10 all time? Probably. But will the other one be sticking around up to that point? That, I think, is a bigger question. Donovan McNabb has left the Eagles and is signed with the Panthers. Antonio Gates to the Bills. Jason Hatcher gone from the Giants to the Chiefs. Stafford to the Cardinals. Julian Edelman to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Superstar Dev is Quite nice for him. Jay Ratliff to the Bills too. Justin Smith now to the Broncos. Julius Peppers sticking around, going to the Texans. Some interesting things going on. NFL draft time. I don't even really feel like showing you the top 10. It's going to be so brutal to see bust after bust after bust. Eric Fisher to the Lions. Dolphins get Luke Jokel. Texans get Deion Jordan. Giants get D. Milner. Oh my lord. Lane Johnson goes to the Bengals. Barkevius Mingo, not Mango or Mengo, but Mingo goes to the Eagles. Bucks on the clock after the football team snags Jonathan Cooper. They get Tavon Austin. Sheldon Richardson goes to Buffalo. That just feels right to me for some reason. And then Ziggy Ansah goes to the 49ers. Yeah, pretty rough top 10. Now, there are some great value picks in this draft class, like Travis Kelce to Tennessee. The Jets got DeAndre Hopkins, David Bakhtiari to the Cowboys, Keenan Allen to the Lions at the top of the third, Tyrann Mathieu to Denver. That feels like a good fit. Teron Armstead to the Bears. A lot of highly rated players in this class. Travis Frederick to the Rams, Adam Thielen, big late round pick to the Packers, Le'Veon Bell to Washington football team. Big play slay Xavier Rhodes, JC Treader to the Texans. Some of these probably rated a bit too high, but that can be fun sometimes. Ravens won the division at 9-8, snuck into the playoffs. Titans grabbed the 1 seed. Falcons have it on the other side. I think that's the first time we've seen that combination. Very interesting stat leaders here. LaShawn McCoy has led the league in rushing yards. MJD had 20 touchdowns. Look at passing leaders though. Russell Wilson right at 5K. Phillip Rivers has led the league in passing yards by a lot. And then Marvin Harrison, 1,700 yards. Kind of the first time I remember seeing him. And it's super deep into his career at this point. Brian Arakpo put up 20 plus sacks with DeMarcus Ware, Chandler Jones. Tramon Williams led the league in picks. And then some random tackle leaders. Paul Posluszny, I guess, you know, is up there for good reason. But some other of those names don't really seem too familiar. See the passing leaders in here. What about touchdowns? Andrew Luck, 39. Matt Stafford right there as well. Rushing, seen some of this already. No Sean Moreno, New Jersey legend. Hold on. What is his average? Adrian Peterson, 7 yards per carry. Only had 142 attempts. But why? What is happening to the Panthers that he's only getting 130? He had to have been injured. Yeah, 10 games played. Definitely got injured and Jaquiz Rodgers played. I'm like, because there's no way Adrian Peterson's having an all-time great rushing season. And they're like, you know what? Jaquiz Rodgers could use some more carries. Percy Harvin putting up insane numbers. He's up to Superstar X Factor. Holy. Some of the same names we're kind of used to seeing at this point. Aaron Campman is putting up insane numbers every year. Look at this. Look at all these double-digit sack years. He's been doing this for well over a decade now. Aaron Campman is a beast, it turns out. He was like pretty good in real life. I kind of equate him to the career of like a Kyle Vanden Bosch. I feel like he was pretty good. And the Bears are back in the Super Bowl, facing the Raiders. Jeez, does this seem familiar? Matt Leinart is still their quarterback, though. They have Hakeem Nicks with Pierre Garçon. Of course, we know Calvin Johnson. Charles Clay. Totally forgot that he was a player. They have Teron Armstead. They've drafted really well. Ernie Sims up to Superstar. Calais Campbell up to Superstar X Factor. Same thing with Mario Williams. They have Morris Claiborne. Got Bobby Wagner is up to Superstar X Factor. Probably had it at the draft, to be honest. But he's up to a 96 overall already. Wearing number 21 is disgusting, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to give him his 54 because it doesn't matter. The Bears are so significantly better than the Raiders. It's crazy. They have Barrett Ruud, whoever Jimmy Kennedy is, and Joe Staley has changed Bay Area teams. Bears up 23-10 now. It's kind of been a back and forth first half, but the Bears starting to pull away. Raiders going to have to do a lot very quickly. It's not going to happen for them. It's 43-10. The Bears are becoming the dynasty that the Patriots never could. That is their 4th Super Bowl win in this video alone. Unbelievable from the Bears. They took the Patriots dynasty, threw it away. Matt Leinart 4 touchdowns. And the Bears are becoming one of the best teams of all time. Michael Vick won MVP? Huh? The Bears are now 5-time Super Bowl champions, but Michael Vick won MVP? How do we not even notice that? This is a real interesting class, 2014. Has one of the most legendary college defenders ever, Jadeveon Clowney. Khalil Mack, Sammy Watkins was a bit of a bust. They got the boat, Blake Bortles. Greg Robinson would end up being a huge bust. But Mike Evans, Justin Gilbert was bad. Odell, Aaron Donald. Some of the best players in the league, Zach Martin. Johnny Football in that class as well. Marcus Smith was a big bust. But there were some very, very good players, despite not being a particularly strong quarterback class. Teddy Bridgewater's at the end of this one as well. And Michael Vick has won an MVP with the Falcons and immediately signed with the Texans. Tommy Harris to the Jets. Chris Nee to LA. Logan Mankins to the Saints. A lot of big-time players changing teams. Darrell Washington with the Chargers. The Chargers are not messing around. They just have not been successful. Peyton Hillis is an 87. On what planet? On what planet? Julius Peppers to the Broncos now. Peyton Hillis had one season and really like half a season of good games. Like had a huge game against the Patriots and that kind of carried the season. I don't know. Peyton Hillis is weird. Madden cover legend. RIP John Madden, by the way. I think I started recording this video before that happened, and it's taken so long that happened somewhere in the middle. And what a legend of the game. I wouldn't be here without John Madden. I mean, I make my career at this point on the John Madden football video game. So, you know, just a legend of the game. And sorry to see him go, as Greg Robinson does go to the Rams. Blake Bortles to the Bills. Sammy Watkins to Washington football team. Versus Clowney go number 1 to the Jags. Steelers get Khalil Mack. Jake Matthews to the Texans, going to protect Michael Vick. Mike Evans to Philly. The Giants get Taylor Lewan. Worst drafted Odell in this class. As Aaron Donald does go top 10. Chiefs snag him. Browns get Odell Beckham Jr. He skips the Giants, goes straight there. It worked out really well in real life. Saints get Kyle Fuller. Bengals with Zach Martin. Niners with Justin Gilbert, and that's like the last one I want to see. Wow, D Ford rated very highly in that draft class, huh? It's interesting. Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald both are 83s. I think that's fair. Odell, listen, people think I overrate Odell all the time, and I didn't even make this class. But Odell Beckham Jr., in his first 4 seasons, had the most receiving yards of any receiver ever over that span, and he missed games. Devontae Adams, monster. He'll develop quite nicely. Bengals got a couple of very good players. Allen Robinson to the Seahawks. DeMarcus Lawrence to the Ravens. Titans get Joel Bitonio, Brandon Cooks to the Bucks. It's a pretty talented draft class. CJ Mosley skips the Ravens, goes straight to the Jets. Saw Jawan James skip the Dolphins and go straight to the Broncos as well. And we'll see what 2014 has in store. Ravens have the 1 seed. If we see Patriots against Ravens Tom Brady, that would be amazing. Packers get the 1 seed on the other side. Did the Bears make the playoffs even? No, 9-8 missed the playoffs. Carson Palmer, very good year. Aaron Rodgers as well. Alex Smith is the new Bears starter. There's no consistency with them. Finally, it catches up to them and they miss the playoffs. Carson Palmer, insane numbers. Andrew Luck is killing it with the Niners. Patrick Ramsey continues to make his case for being the best quarterback of all time. Tom Brady, very good year, but he is regressing like pretty heavily at this point. Will he be able to finally win a Super Bowl? Rushing, Michael Bush did not lead the league in yards. I don't believe it. He had 369 attempts. 369. It's insane. And Cordell Drummond has led the league in receiving yards. Who? Not a real guy. Eddie Royal up at the top. Eddie Royal is a real guy. Pretty good numbers. Marquise Colston, Demaryius Thomas still there. James Jones putting up some good numbers. Calvin up there. I hate seeing the fake players, but I guess, you know, sometimes guys are going to fall through the cracks, get a chance. DeAndre Levy did have a very, very good year, one of his first years in the league, and then kind of dropped off. Jared Allen was amazing. Jason Jones put up 21.5 sacks. Is this the Jason Jones that played on the Lions? Where'd he go? Eastern Michigan. This is the Jason Jones that played on the Lions. And the Seahawks, I remember, but he was only there for 1 year and then went back to Detroit and then finished with Miami. Yeah, he was like not great. But he's amazing in this. Jared Allen, Terrell Suggs, Mario Williams, Robert Ayers. Robert Ayers, 18.5. Now, he did have a season where he put up a lot of sacks, I think, but it wasn't, I don't even know if it was over 12. 9 in 2015 with the Giants. Yeah. I said a lot of sacks by like his standards. Of course, Brian Arakpo still killing it. Anthony Spencer. Lawrence Timmons had 14.5. Vinny Curry had 14.5. Jason Worlds. Fun fact about Jason Worlds, quit football to become a Jehovah's Witness. This was an interesting class, 2015. Another class with a lot of busts. Jameis Winston, you gotta be in that conversation, right? As a bust. It gotta be. Marcus Mariota, same deal. Dante Fowler Jr., it's kind of tough with him, but certainly was not worth the pick. Some good players in here. Kevin White, if not for injury, I think could have been amazing. Just could never stay healthy. Todd Gurley without arthritis would be amazing. Was amazing for a while. He's still only like 27 in real life. I have a Todd Gurley signed Falcons helmet I got for free. I can't imagine it's valuable at all, but it's like a real authentic helmet. And I don't know why I have it. Like, I guess I do, because I did it for, I did like a mystery box video, and I really didn't know what I was getting, and that was one of the things in there. Same reason I have a Jason Witten signed helmet. Same reason I have like a Tremaine Edmonds Bills helmet, and I have an Ezekiel Elliott signed helmet. I don't know what to do with it. I have Aaron Rodgers too over there. I don't know if you guys can even see it in the camera, but I think you probably could have been able to. I don't know what to do with them. But the contrast from Aaron Rodgers won MVP last year, probably going to win it again, to Jason Witten Raiders, Todd Gurley Falcons is immense. And the Steelers and Bucks will meet in the Super Bowl. Let's hop on with the Bucks. Actually, you know what? I only used the Steelers for a very short time. Let's go with the Steelers. I used them just for like a quick change, I want to say. I don't even know if I spent a full season with them. As we'll check out this Steelers team. Of course, they have Big Ben. And Jamal Charles. Wow. Lamar Miller. Lorenzo Taliaferro. Demaryius Thomas. Is this Marty B? Is this Martavis Bryant? Wow. The Steelers ended up drafting Martavis Bryant. Another one where he could have stayed out of trouble. Who knows? Could have been pretty good. Marshall Yonda still playing tackle. Gabe Jackson. Is that Jason Smith at left tackle? It is. Another big draft bust, but he's developing a little bit. A little bit. Defensively, we know they have Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis looking amazing. Yeah, he is a monster. Hit power could be even higher. Cortland Finnegan, Superstar X Factor. I mean, Jason Jones is a monster in this for some reason. He's developed amazingly. Was not that good in real life, but is a monster in this game, apparently. And then we have Will Smith from the Patriots, now to this team, Olivier Vernon, Cedric Ellis, Travis LeBoy. Interesting. I have no idea how Travis LeBoy is superstar dev, but he does. Kenny Vaccaro back there as well. Let's see if the Steelers team can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or will Aaron Rodgers win another Super Bowl? Find out just a minute. We've seen them. They have Marquise Colston up at the top of the league every year. Aaron Rodgers, Delaney Walker, high-powered offense. But can this defense shut them down? The Steel Curtain is back. Steelers, Bucks, Super Bowl something. Very back and forth game right now. Bucks just on top, and they will extend their lead. Let's go slow. The Steelers and Big Ben can drive down the field and score a touchdown to win it. No Santonio Holmes on this team. We'll see what number 6 Big Ben can do as he lobs it up deep and finds a receiver down the sideline. That is a first down. And seeing Big Ben wear number 6 is disgusting. You're going to have to bear with me. Big Ben airing it out deep. Right sideline. Might have been closer to the actual DB than it was to the receiver. But thankfully for the Steelers, that was batted away. 3rd and 1 for Pittsburgh. I would just run the ball there. Just guarantee the first, but they got it through the air. Doesn't matter. Just over a minute to play. Looks like Tampa is going for that football. Here's Big Ben to throw. He's pushed out right. He is sacked, and he put the football on the ground. It's recovered by Tampa. Foot race to the end zone, and he will be caught. Lost all stamina at the end, but that could be what wins Tampa the Super Bowl. Steelers only with 1 timeout. Marshall Yanda chasing down. Irving couldn't quite finish the play. Big sack. Looks like that was Cameron Hayward. And that will be the game. Aaron Rodgers will win another Super Bowl in stunning fashion, beating the Steelers. I think 2nd Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers here. He only has 1 in real life. So he has 2 in video game land. Might win 1 in real life this year. I don't know if I like the Packers to win. I don't know if I like any team to in real life because, I mean, every team doesn't really look that good. Like, even the great teams look bad sometimes. So it's really tough to know, like, who is actually going to come away with it. I don't really feel like there's a favorite. And it's like, the Packers have looked really good at times, but also, like, they lost really, or they won really close games against the Browns, who were bad, and Baker played horribly. They beat the Ravens, who were running a practice squad secondary out there, by 1 point. And they also backup quarterback in Tyler Huntley, who isn't bad, but isn't that good. Like, is this Packers team for real? It's tough to say. I think they're one of those teams that maybe isn't going to beat anyone all that convincingly as Andrew Luck wins an MVP. Jarvis Landry with the Patriots, Stephon Tuitt, rookies of the year. But I think he's going to be somebody that just, or not he, the Packers. I think they're going to be a team that just finds a way to win. Whether it'll be the Super Bowl, though, is a different question. I doubt they're going to be a one and done in the playoffs. Could happen, but I don't think so. Usually just doesn't seem to be the case with A-Rod and Green Bay, but we'll have to see. Steelers grab Cecil Shorts III, and Julio is not playing out his initial contract. Or, well, hold on, he did, but now he's signed with the Colts, so he's not going to re-up. Where was Julio? I almost want to say the Titans grabbed him, but am I just thinking that because he's on the Titans in real life? Let's find out. Where'd he go? The Colts? Yeah, he was on the Titans. So just like, you know, a lot of the players that we've talked about in this video, just skipping over his first team straight to the next team. It's happened a lot. Jared Allen to the Saints. Sherm goes to the Eagles. Jericho Cotchery, who had so much success with the Eagles, will now join a division rival. Go to the Giants. Tommy Harris to Dallas. Weddle to the Eagles. Haloti Ngata to the Lions. That one feels like it makes sense to me. Did he go to the Lions at the end of his career? I feel like he may have. Yeah, Haloti Ngata went to the Lions for a few years after the Ravens, and then finished his career up with the Eagles. Know a lot of Pat McAfee fans out there. He's going to the Bengals. Tamba Hali to the Jets. I mean, the beast that is Michael Bush is going to Philadelphia. Some interesting things all around. Some awesome Jason offensive linemen changing teams. The Texans keep getting a lot of players as well. They might be a team to look out for. Dolphins have the number 1 pick. And I presume they're going to take the guy that went number 1 overall in real life. They don't. They take Marcus Mariota. And the Giants are going to take Jameis Winston. No, they go with Amari Cooper. What's happening? Are we finally seeing draft variation? Did I miss Jameis Winston? Dante Fowler Jr. I definitely missed Jameis Winston. I missed one pick. The Dolphins didn't pick a number 1 overall. I just missed it. Okay. I was just blind for a second. Kevin White goes to Washington football team. Melvin Gordon to the Bills. Danny Shelton shaved his head, goes to the Jaguars. Saints get Vic Beasley, and the Browns, finishing at the top 10, get Trey Waynes. I didn't see Jameis Winston get drafted. I was editing a video while recording this. There's a lot of downtime with the simulation, so I try to multitask to get the videos out for you guys. But I looked over and I was doing that, and then I came back and I'm like, here we are in the draft. But I didn't pause it, so they were actively picking, so I didn't see Jameis Winston go. But Jameis Winston was a number 1 overall pick. Trust me. No, he wasn't. I convinced myself that was wrong. Jameis Winston, for some reason, dropped drastically in the draft. So the Bears, no less, who still are looking for their quarterback. Why did Jameis Winston, first of all, why does he have 96 throw power? Second of all, why did he drop to 18? That's crazy. Amari Cooper to the Giants, Todd Gurley to the Panthers. Browns got Danielle Hunter late, pretty good pick. Stephon Diggs to the Falcons, pretty good value for him. Frank Clark, it's rated way too high, goes to the Chargers. Brandon Sheriff to the Broncos. Some fun ones in here. Grady Jarrett, a bunch of big steals. David Johnson, Grady Jarrett, both to the Jags. David Johnson pre-injury was awesome. Ali Marpet to the Cowboys. Trent Brown to the Rams. Trey Flowers to the Panthers. Some fun picks in there. Zadarius Smith to Tampa. Steelers have made the playoffs, although the Bengals won the division at 12-5. This is the way the playoff bracket will shape up. The Bears grabbed the 1 seed. They've been doing that. And the Jets have the 1 seed in the AFC. Texans are the 2 seed, though, so we were right about watching out for them, as Caleb Klein has led the league in passing yards, Noshawn Moreno in rushing yards, Peter Douglas in receiving yards. I think 2 of those 3 are fake players. Calais Campbell and Brian Arakpo. Captain Munnerlin had 6 picks. Jeff Heath had 6. Matt Moore with the Broncos put up crazy numbers. It's just chaos is transpiring in this league at this point. 44 TDs for Big Ben. Jimmy Garoppolo seems like he's going to be a beast. 5,000 yards passing. Noshawn, 17 touchdowns. Marshawn Lynch had 24. Adrian Peterson continues to play well. CJ 2K at 1.3K. Less of a ring to that one. D-Jax is with the Lions. That's interesting. Where are we for touchdowns? 18 for Demaryius Thomas. Mohamed Sanu at 14. Devontae Adams, very good year. Cecil Short's in there as well. Sammy Watkins, Dwayne Bowe. I mean, a number of receivers with 10. Ruben Randall, Giants legend. The 2016 draft had some big hits and misses as well. You have Joey Bosa and Jalen Ramsey at the top. Ronnie Stanley, DeForest Buckner. I mean, 4 of the best at their positions in the league. And then you have some questionable quarterbacks. And then guys like Eli Apple, Vernon Hargraves. Vernon Hargraves was so sick at Florida. Not good in the NFL. Larry Tunsil dropped. He was supposed to go number 1, and then he had the huge gas mask incident. And then he ended up falling. He was like, well, the other teams traded up for QBs, but Tunsil was then going to go like 3 and then fell. Very odd draft. Laquan Treadwell was sick at Ole Miss. Josh Doxson sick at TCU. Just never developed. Paxton Lynch, geez. And I'm already on the Steelers, so we don't have to worry about that. But you know what? Let's go to the Seahawks. We haven't seen them. See what they're up to. Close Super Bowl right now. 38-28. Seahawks running away with it now. And this will be the final. 47-28. And Seattle has won the Super Bowl. Who's the lady in the jersey on the podium right there? I don't even know who their quarterback is. Matt Leinart is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Unreal. Matt Leinart's a beast, dude. That's all there is to it. He had his USC hype, and he turned out to not be a bust, it seems like. 2015 now season recap has Adrian Peterson winning the MVP, JJ Watt Defensive Player of the Year. Did he win Defensive Player of the Year in 2015? I think he did, actually. It was JJ Watt. Kind of fun when that happens. Tony Romo to the Seahawks. I mean, he basically was on the Seahawks when he fumbled that snap. I don't know why he was even holding on that kick anyway, but Seahawks Cowboys, legendary game. Fletcher Cox up to a 92 overall at just 25 years old. Superstar dev. Larry Fitz is 34, and he signed with the Cardinals. Now, I want to find out where was Larry Fitzgerald for the rest of his career? But to see him end his career likely as a Cardinal is poetic. I mean, there's something there, right? But where was Larry Fitz other than that? LaRon Whitaker doesn't exist. Who is this? Somebody that snuck through. But Larry Fitz, I want to say he was with the Panthers. His arms are huge. He was with the Panthers. He's got the biggest arms I've probably ever seen. Tommy Harris, I feel like, has been a free agent literally every year. And he's going to continue that trend going to the Raiders. Josh Gordon to the Steelers. He and Martavis Bryant should be a dynamic duo. Luis Vasquez to the Packers. Lawrence Timmons to Minnesota. Peyton Hill is still sticking around. Eric Triplett to the Bills. Alshon to the Browns. Some interesting players in here. Johnny Knox to the Titans. Good to see him taking advantage of his second shot. This is T.Y. Hilton, remember, not Hinton. Hakeem Nicks to the Bucks. Haloti Ngata to the Chargers. Parrot Rude, Superstar X Factor. And Cortland Finnegan, Superstar X Factor is crazy to me. I mean, Cortland Finnegan was a pretty good player. More remembered, of course, for getting punched in the head by Andre Johnson. But he was not a Superstar X Factor type player. As we will see this 2016 draft. Oh no. Bad teams are going to stay bad. Because at number 1 overall, the Raiders are going to take the goofball. Jared Goff, keeping him in state. Tough. Because remember, I say in state, the Raiders are still in California in this timeline. Have never moved to Las Vegas because we started in 2002. The Jaguars are going to stay bad because they're going to take Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State. Titans at 3 going Joey Bosa. Saints going with Ronnie Stanley. They don't have Teron Armstead here, so I like that. DeForest Buckner to the Bills. Cardinals grab Jalen Ramsey. Not a bad pick. Giants get Jack Conklin. Nice to see them invest in an actual good offensive lineman. Sheldon Rankins to the Falcons. Corey Coleman does go to the Browns in this. Bust. And then the Ravens get Vernon Hargraves, the third. Sadly, another bust. And not the first time they've taken a bad Florida DB. I'm sure you guys remember. Actually, maybe you don't. There's no reason to. But Matt Elam, first round safety by the Ravens, was not good. Seahawks got Keanu Neal, kind of a lower overall than he should be. But this draft, as you can see, is more like scaled back in terms of the overall, which is probably for the best. Tyreek Hill, wow, gets drafted by the Chiefs in the 4th. Seems familiar. I want to say it was a 5th round pick, though. Yeah, 5th round pick. But that is still pretty cool. Chris Jones to the Texans. Michael Pierce, the big nose tackle, goes to the Browns. Justin Simmons to the Niners. Michael Thomas to the Cardinals to team up with Larry Fitzgerald and that crazy made-up receiver. Miles Jack to the Jags at the back end of the first. Remember, he dropped because of injury. He would have gone a lot higher. Ryan Kelly to the Steelers, investing in a good offensive lineman. Derrick Henry to the Saints. Well, they didn't get Mark Ingram in this. They got a different Alabama running back. This one is also a Heisman winner. Mark Ingram was a Heisman winner. Think about that. Dak also to the Saints. Saints got Dak and Derrick Henry, two of the best players from the SEC during that time. Xavier Howard is a first rounder this time, goes to the Bears. Not bad. And the Cardinals have won the division, by the way, at 13-4. They've continued to be a good team as the Jags got the 1 seed. Were they not just picking at the top of the draft at number 2 overall? Well, Carson Wentz, or whoever their quarterback is, seemed to have taken them to the promised land. The best record in the AFC South, the best record in the AFC, obviously, with that 1 seed. But that's just crazy to see. That's, quite a turnaround. Pretty unbelievable one at that. They have Mike Vrabel, so they're going to be running the football a lot. Caleb Klein, made up guy. Actually, no, maybe he's not. That name actually sounds vaguely familiar. Can I pull up Pro Football Reference here? No, he is made up. I don't know who that is. I was thinking of some third rounder that never played a snap in the league in one of like 2006 or something like that, 2005. Can't remember his name, but saw him when I was making some of these draft classes. And Andrew Luck continues to be really, really good. Now, I want to see the Jaguars. We're probably going to see them for running. Yeah, Carson Wentz was their starting quarterback. Rushing, Adrian Peterson, another really good year for him. Sean McCoy, MJD with the Seahawks. Jonathan Stewart with the Patriots putting up pretty good numbers. No Sean's up there. LeGarrette Blount getting a lot of snaps. Now, we should be seeing the Jags somewhere here. It's David Johnson. Decent year. Receiving, Peter Douglas continues to ball out against my wishes. Randall Cobb had a great year. Emmanuel Sanders. Randall Cobb, by the way, reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. Two Packers guys being Tampa Bay Bucks for their careers is kind of neat. Sammy Watkins, AJ Green, Kobe Fleener, not Colby, Kobe Fleener. Wild. Charles Johnston, okay. Keenan Allen, Zaire Hannon. Got some names slipping through the cracks. Adam Thielen went to the Packers. Antonio Brown up there. Dude, Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill. How are you covering those receivers? You're not, probably. You're probably not. Chandler Jones with 25 sacks. Jason Jones continues to kill it. Cam Jordan, Von Miller with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are pretty good. There's also a random space after the N in Von that's bothering me a bit. Some pretty crazy numbers here. Man, the Texans are building up that D-line. Chris Jones and Stephon Tuitt. DRC. We have with 6 picks. Only player in the league with 6. Again, the interception logic has to be better because, you know, time and time again, we see guys get more than 6 interceptions in the NFL. Multiple guys. But it doesn't really happen in Madden. It's a pretty good draft class, too. You got some real good players in there. Myles Garrett, Patrick Mahomes, 2 of the best in the league at their respective positions. And we'll see who's playing in the Super Bowl. Will it be the Bucs again? Aaron Rodgers' 3rd Super Bowl. Will it be somebody else? Wow. Pittsburgh, Seattle. This could be a fun one. Now, this, of course, was already a Super Bowl in 2005. And this could be a pretty even matchup. Patrick Willis, Demaryius Thomas, Jason Jones, who obviously is unreal in this. And then Chandler Jones, who led the league in sacks. Jason Jones was 2nd. MJD, Geno Atkins on the same D-line. Watch out. This is going to be, you know, where the rubber meets the road. Where an unstoppable force meets an... what did I say? Where a stoppable force meets an immovable object. I kind of forgot what I started with. But it is 7-7 here in the 2nd quarter. It's back and forth, but no points are being scored right now. It's just punt after punt or turnover. Steelers are up 21-7, 24-7, and the Steelers will win the Super Bowl. Big Ben finally gets one. He is wearing number 6, and he's wearing a neck roll for some reason. I didn't make this draft class. I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah. Steelers finally get one. Big Ben finally gets one. And, you know, this is a team that won multiple Super Bowls in, you know, the 21st century. And to go the entire 21st century over this recent and have them not win one was a little bizarre. But, of course, Big Ben gets one. And we will move on to another season. Tony Romo, by the way, Seahawks quarterback. We saw he signed there. Pretty interesting. Matthew Stafford winning MVP. Chandler Jones, Defensive Player of the Year. Zeke, Offensive Rookie of the Year with the 49ers. And Blake Martinez with the Steelers is Defensive Rookie of the Year. Interesting. Lane Johnson to that team. Well, listen, I've been an NFL fan for long enough to know that's not a team. And I can't even guess where he would have signed with. Because who would have moved? We'll figure it out. Tyrann Mathieu to the Broncos. Rodney Hudson to the Bengals. Terrell Suggs to the Bengals. Peyton Hill is still sticking around somehow. Matt Forte to the Falcons. Tommy Harris changes teams again. He goes to the Giants. K'Wan Short to the Pack. Gerard Mayo to the Jaguars. Bunch of big players changing teams. Richie Incognito has been like old forever. Even to this recent, he's 34. He's been in the league forever. Vontae Davis didn't retire at halftime this time around. The Packers have the 1st pick. And they get Myles Garrett. Yeah, it's a pretty good player to get at number 1. No, he's going to be pretty good. Oh, jeez. Mitchell Trubisky to the Giants at number 2. Solomon Thomas to the Browns. Wasn't really a D tackle, or isn't. He's more of a 3-4 like hybrid end. I think he could play 4-3 defensive end too. He has at times. He's more of a rotational, inside outside type guy. Leonard Fournette to the Falcons at 4. Not great value as Corey Davis stays in Michigan, goes to the Lions. Not the best pick in the world. Jamal Adams to the 49ers. Patriots get John Ross. I bet he would be good for them somehow. Malik Hooker goes to the Cowboys. Hooker, of course, is banned by the text censoring. Mike Williams to the Dolphins, and the Chargers get Marlon Humphrey. Some pretty good players in this draft, 2017. Seahawks got David Njoku, who is an incredibly generous 78 overall compared to Carl Lawson's 76. I will say that. Patrick Mahomes goes to Washington Football Team. In the last video we did, he went to Jacksonville. Christian McCaffrey goes to the Broncos. That's kind of fun. His dad was a Bronco, Ed McCaffrey. George Kittle, big steal, goes to the Panthers. Kamara to Philadelphia. Tre'Davious White does go to the Bills, like real life. Rod God to the Dolphins. Different Florida team. So Humphrey. Dalvin Cook goes from the Vikings to the Packers. Deshaun Watson to the Bengals. I think they still probably have massage parlors in Cincinnati, so he can only do so much. TJ Watt to the Buccaneers. Ryan Ramczyk to the Eagles. Cooper Kupp to the Ravens. Juju to the Broncos. Marshawn Lattimore to the Texans. That was the one we just didn't quite see. And Jonathan Allen goes to this mystery team. They are... I have no idea. I mean, a bunch of really good players in this draft, man. Like, really, really talented guys. The Blues with Von Miller and Aaron... Oh, this is just the Rams. This is the Chiefs, I want to say, right? It is the Chiefs. The Chiefs have relocated to St. Louis. St. Louis Blues, that's hockey. But yeah, Von Miller and Aaron Donald do play on the same team in real life right now. But Antonio Brown, this is just the washed-up team. But they haven't been washed up yet. They're just really good. Lane Johnson. Andy Levitre is a freaking 94 overall. LeGarrette Blount, Xavier Rhodes, Alejandro Villanueva. I just said Villa. I needed to commit to Villanueva or Villanueva. I can't be in the middle. Can't be in el medio. But we have Michael Kendricks. Sergio Lamontagne. This cannot be a real player. How do so many slip between the cracks? Tyreek Hill is going to be really good. This team's going to be one to watch out for. Justin Blackmon too. Yeah, watch out for this team. That's all I have to say. Very interesting class here. Yeah, some interesting QBs. Josh Allen, Baker, Sam Darnold. Bradley Chubb's in here with Roquan Smith. You got some good players. Some not so good players, and we'll see how their careers develop. As you can see, the Seahawks won the division. And let's see. We have the Broncos and Cowboys each getting the 1 seed. Yes, the Broncos are benefiting greatly from their addition of Christian McCaffrey. What a fun storyline that is. I like when stuff like that kind of matches out. And we even saw the new team, the Blues, getting into the playoffs. Mark Sanchez is the Seattle quarterback. Not great. Jimmy G's thrown for a lot of yards. They're fake yards, though, in this Minnesota offense. Shout out Kirk Cousins. Big Ben has a great season, leads the league in passing touchdowns. Matt Castle right there with 41. Flacco, Russell Wilson. Did he go to... No, he went to the Steelers in the 2010 resim. Stafford, still killing it. Andrew Walter, we've seen before, obviously, with the Chiefs. Same team. Aaron Rodgers doing pretty well. Teddy Bridgewater doing pretty well. Good ratio. Sean McCoy had an incredible year, about 1,900 yards, averaging 6 per carry, 20 touchdowns for the Cowboys. Adrian Peterson still with the Panthers, killing it. No Sean with a great year. MJD, same deal. Garrett Blount. CJ 2K still cannot get anywhere close to 2K. And then touchdowns. 18 from Marino Chris Johnson. Who else is in here who wasn't at the top of the yards list? Zeke, only 3.8 per carry, but is getting a lot of carries. This is only going to go up as he gets better. Now that he's into the 90s, I imagine he's going to be incredible. Going forward, Stephen Ridley still in the league. Remember Stephen Ridley was pretty good, and then he fumbled a couple times, and Bill Belichick's like, you'll never play in this league again. And it was true. Christian McCaffrey, very good rookie year. He looks funny. He looks super old. But that's tough. Antonio Brown leads the league in receiving yards, something he did in real life from time to time. Good stuff from him. Randall Cobb killing it. Only 3 touchdowns, though. Miguel Vega and Peter Douglas. Get these dudes out of here. Demaryius Thomas crushing it. Barrett Ruud continues to lead the league in tackles. He's not just a 1-year wonder or 2-year wonder in this franchise. JJ Watt, 23 sacks. Aaron Donald right behind him. We haven't seen that crossover yet of JJ Watt giving Aaron Donald the title of best defensive player in the league, you know, by him not being number 1 anymore. It's happened in real life. Happened a few years ago. I guess due to JJ Watt's injuries. Not yet. Aaron Donald's good. A 20-sack season is pretty good. He's unbelievable, by the way. And Danielle Hunter's still killing it. Doing well. Cam Hayward, Fletcher Cox, Stephon Tuitt. You know what I've noticed from this? A lot of interior pressure. More so than usual. I wonder why. 8 picks for Chris Harris. Good for him. Was he undrafted? I think he was. Undrafted at Kansas. Yeah, he definitely was. Because I think Aqib Talib did get drafted. I think he was a first-round pick, and Chris Harris, and they were teammates, was not drafted, period, and still ended up being very, 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 very good. I feel like Chris Harris Jr. is going to go down as one of the more underrated players of all time. Like, he had to have been a multiple-time All-Pro, Pro Bowler, and then he transitioned to being one of the best slot corners in the league, and he's even still pretty good now. 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He is on the Hall of Fame All-2010s team. I mean, Chris Harris Jr. was really, really good. Ooh. And the Super Bowl is Panthers-Broncos, which is Christian McCaffrey's real-life team versus his first-year team in this resim. So it's time to hop on board with the Panthers. Joe Judge, the Seahawks quarterback, or Seahawks coach. Time to hop on board with the Panthers. Sean Taylor, Dante Hightower, Adrian Peterson. Pretty good team. Who else do they have? Let's see that defense. Kenyon Drake, Des Bryant, Kenny Galladay, not spelled correctly, but that's all right. Tyler Eifert. Offensive line's pretty good. We saw Ronald Leary earlier with the Broncos. Well, you know what? He was a Bronco in real life. Am I just confusing that? And I wanted to say Cowboys, but he was a Cowboy in real life. He's just been with Carolina the entire time? Okay, I guess I was wrong. Maybe we didn't see Ronald Leary earlier. I thought we did. Ryan Clady was one of the best tackles in the league for a bit. And then defensively, Vince Williams is good? Can't be. All right. KJ Wright. Joseph Adai is not who that is. That's Jaleel Adai. And he was okay with the Chargers for a bit. He's up to superstar dev somehow. Sean Taylor. Nickel Roby-Coleman. Sean Smith, Cliff Averill, Starla Tulele. It is Sean Smith. I'll be. This is a pretty good team. Nate Orchard is getting starting reps. Do you remember Nate Orchard? He played on the Browns for a bit. I want to say he was Utah. Am I right about that? It was the first team that jumped out to my mind. Was Nate Orchard Utah? I think so. We're going to check. Nate Orchard is Utah. You know what? I didn't know this. Based off his actual name, I think he's Polynesian. His name, it's Napa Lilo Faka Hafua Orchard. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too badly. But yeah, so many of those Polynesian players go play in Utah, whether it's Utah or BYU. It's a Polynesian powerhouse. I don't know why, but they've got a big time pipeline going on with like Hawaii and, you know, American Samoa, I'm sure, and just Polynesian descendants as well. It's craziness. I'm sure there's a reason. I'll be educated in the comments of this video, I'm sure. Panthers up 13-3, 16-3 now. Broncos can't get any points up on the board. They have Justin Tucker too, 19-3, but it still is a close game. No, it's not. It's 26-12, 26-19. Hold on. If Denver can get a stop here, they're going to have a chance. This is a really, really good front seven. They can potentially make something happen, and they're rocking play action. They're going to throw, and they're going to get the first down, and that will be the game. That's going to be a Carolina Panthers Super Bowl. I didn't even talk about it earlier, but this is, of course, a Super Bowl rematch as well. This time, a different result. Panthers on top over the Broncos. No Cam Newton to not dive on the fumble. They have Doug Schmidt. Again, I don't know what to tell you about that. Shout out Doug Schmidt for slipping through the cracks and becoming good against all odds. Adrian Peterson with another MVP. J.J. Watt with another Defensive Player of the Year. Charles Harris wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm sure the Dolphins would have liked that. Didn't exactly happen, but he's not, like, bad anymore. So, I don't know. Charles Harris is a weird player. Corey Linsley and Mason Foster both signed with the Panthers, but the Chargers get to it. Davante Adams to the Seahawks. Adrian Peterson has finally left the Panthers at age 33. He's going to the Texans. Mario Williams has left the Bears. He's headed to Dallas. Darrelle Revis to Seattle as well to join Davante Adams. Peyton Hillis still sticking around. He's going to the Chargers. T. Sizzle to the Giants. Delaney Walker to the Ravens. Captain Munnerlyn to the Lions. Get Peter Douglas out of the league, dude. Kyle Fuller to the Giants. Jason McCourty to the Seahawks. It's amazing that Bobby Massey is an 85 overall. If you've seen Bobby Massey play, you know that has to be some type of an error, as the Bears got John Brown. That's where Brown came from, and Joel Bitonio. NFL Draft Time, Raiders at number 1. And they will go with Saquon Barkley at number 1. Man, running back at number 1 overall. That's bold. But at number 2, it's perfectly okay, obviously. Lions take Denzel Ward. Quarterbacks waiting to go a little bit here. Titans get Baker Mayfield at number 3. Jags get Sam Darnold. Bad teams stay bad. Packers take Bradley Chubb. Colts go with Quentin Nelson. Seems familiar. Josh Allen to Washington Football Team. Vita Vea to... That's another, like, Polynesian pipelines. Washington, I feel like. But Vita Vea goes to the Dolphins. Falcons get Daron Payne. And last pick of the top 10 is Mike McGlinchey to the Rams. That's the next round. Okay, well, all right. Colton Miller to the Raiders. That also seems familiar. Yeah, this draft class made Saquon very good. 83 is a bit much. Quentin Nelson probably, or Fred Warner, or Jair Alexander, the best player in this draft class. I mean, Derwin James is so good too. Josh Allen has obviously developed really nicely. Denzel Ward's great. Jesse Bates is great. Bengals get him. Seems familiar. Darius Leonard to the Browns. Lamar Jackson to the Ravens. I swear, if Mark Andrews went to the Ravens, dude, it's just teams taking who they took. Minka Fitzpatrick going to the Bills. Of course, the Dolphins drafted him, and he ended up on the Steelers via trade. Wyatt Teller skips the Bills, goes straight to the Browns. Orlando Brown Jr. to Washington Football Team. Justin Reed to the Chargers. Calvin Ridley to the Jets. Roquan to the Patriots. And the Cardinals have a lot of receivers. DJ Moore. I want to see some more guys that actually got drafted their team. Baker to the Titans. Who is someone that has a connection to the team that they're on in real life or has played for? I'm not seeing any now. Now I'm upset. I got my hopes up, and none of them, up to the point of where I'm recording this, have played for the team. So many spelling errors. Getting upset. Show me one. Show me one more. There's got to be one more. At least some connection. I haven't seen any. Is Royce Freeman on the Rams now? No, he went to the Texans. Well, Colton Miller, but we already saw that. Chris Herndon Jet. There we go. All right. If I had to go through the whole draft to find another one, I would have been sad. Buccaneers won the division. 3 teams in the NFC South going 11-6. Have to be 3 playoff teams you'd expect. And there are. Bears get the 1 seed. Raiders get the 1 seed after picking like number 1 overall. Was that last year or the previous year? I don't know. But either way, they're amazing now. There's a lot of variation in this resim, I think changing teams as often as I have has been very good for variation and variety and parity and things like that, which is nice. Very, very nice. NFL MVP will be Andrew Luck. This season's amazing. 5,405 yards, 42 touchdowns to 6 picks. That just is MVP. Yeah, he's amazing. He's wearing number 16 too. Best quarterback to ever play for the 49ers. First point. And then if he wasn't, he's still the best quarterback in the Niners to wear number 16. Jameis Winston putting up good numbers with the Bears. They've had a revolving door of quarterbacks, and it hasn't mattered. They're still sick. Aaron Rodgers, great numbers. Matty Ice with the Giants, putting up very good numbers as well. Rookie Lamar Jackson. Is he wearing number 8? Because Tom Brady would have had it. He wears number 3 now. Is that what Tyler Huntley wears? Am I wrong about that? Tyler Huntley is 2. RG3 up there with the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes, not a great rookie year, but he is a 95 or second year. He's wearing gloves. That's right. He was a rookie the previous year. Kind of got crossed up a bit. Rushing. LaShawn McCoy again leads the league in yards, and I presume touchdowns as well. Got the most yards by a lot. Zeke having a really good second year or third year. 18 TDs for Derrick Henry. 16 for LeGarrette Blount. Some pretty crazy numbers in here. Where is Adrian Peterson? There he is. He just didn't get many touches. He was amazing in the touches he did have. Only played in 14 games. Bit of injury there, maybe. Wow. This is true based off of what I saw at Missouri. At Mizzou, DGB was the best college receiver I have ever seen. Promise you. Number 1. At least from memory. In the NFL, not so much. He got kicked out of Mizzou, went to Oklahoma, and was just overall not that great in the league. He was amazing at Mizzou, and he's led the league in receiving yards and catches, and is going to be at the top for touchdowns too. Tyrell Williams did end up with the Raiders, skipped the Chargers. I don't barely even remember him with the Chargers now that I say that. But Chargers, Raiders, Lions. Percy Harvin with 12 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs. Yeah, some really cool names. Brian Hartline up at the top. Hayden Hurst. What are we doing? Patrick Willis led the league in tackles. Kevin Minter right there. That's wild. Tackles for loss. 24 from Stephon Tuitt. Calais Campbell at 21.5 sacks led the league. Darrell Washington with 20.5. He's a 99 overall. 74 finesse moves. 20.5 sacks. Interesting. JJ Watt had 20.5 as well. 19 for Brandon Graham. 17.5 for Aaron Donald. Interesting. 6 picks for Moses Stockton. Yeah, of course. Bears, Steelers. It almost feels like we've seen this matchup before, but I think it's the first time we have. As we're going to hop on with the Bears. We were just with the Steelers. I know we were with the Bears earlier, but they've changed quite a bit. It's been a lot of time. Chicago Blues. There's a second Chicago team now. That's where the Chiefs decided to relocate. Chicago. I know there's the Chicago Cubs and White Sox. It's not crazy to have 2 teams in the same city, but it still kind of is to me. I know Jets, Giants too. That one makes sense because they play in like random North Jersey. You get New York, you get New Jersey. It's regions, okay? Chicago, I mean, I guess you could have teams from the surrounding area, Iowa, perhaps, that like either the White Sox or the Cubs. I don't know, though. I feel like they have the history there, was if you brought in a new Chicago team, they all love the Bears too much. It's a terrible spot for a new team, in my opinion. And if you disagree, it's just going to be your opinion. Jameis Winston's up to superstar dev. They have DeMarco Murray, Aaron Jones, Sony Michel. They still have Calvin. Calvin's still really good. Pierre Garçon. Who is this feller? John Brown. We saw him sign there, actually. And he's really good. CJ Uzama doesn't really look like he does. CJ Uzama. Teron Armstead. Ronald Leary. Was it not Ronald Leary with the Panthers? Ronald Leary is doing the impossible. He's playing on 2 NFL teams at the same time. You know what? Better chance of making the Super Bowl. Ronald Leary won the Super Bowl last year. Ronald Leary 2 with an opportunity to do it here. You know what? I like it. you increase your chances of winning the Super Bowl drastically by playing on two separate teams at the same time. So you got to respect that. Bobby Wagner, Alec Ogletree, Christian Kirksey, Jaquiski Tart, I assume is who this is. I guess you couldn't do the last name, so they add an E. Jaquiski Tart, Aqib Talib, Xavier Howard. And their D-line is Lamar Woodley, Calais Campbell, D Ford. Quite a squad. And we'll see who wins this Super Bowl. 2018. Chiefs are not involved. Oh, why did I say Chiefs? I saw the C. I go, Chiefs? No. You'd be surprised. I mean, after a while, just recording, your brain turns to mush. It's very sad. Aqib Talib with an 80-yard interception return. You know, Aqib Talib is at the top all time for most interception return touchdowns ever, as the Steelers will win another Super Bowl with Big Ben. 20-10 over the Bears. I mean, these are two of the best teams of the 2000s, it feels like. I mean, if you had to say the three best defenses in the 2000s, at least from my memory, I'm going in no particular order. Steelers, Bears, Ravens. Now, there might be some other teams that are up there in the conversation, but those to me feel like the best defenses of that era. You know, just the 2000s. And it feels right to see the Bears match up with the Steelers. It feels like that would have been a Super Bowl, even though, and I can't remember that really being a matchup. Andrew Luck, of course, won MVP. Calais Campbell, Defensive Player of the Year. Lamar Jackson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And John Franklin Myers, one of the more underrated players in the league with the Jets, wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. That is rapid fire getting through that sentence. But we will see what happens. I'll probably get kicked off the servers here at some point in this offseason. So I'll just see you for the free agency recap. 2019 draft has some really good players too. Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa. My guy Brian Burns got to be in there somewhere. Elton Jenkins. Mario Williams to the Texans. That's cool. Packers got Tyler Lockett, Rodney Hudson to Washington. Ronald Leary, one of them, is headed to the Bucs. Lamar Woodley to the Raiders. I cannot believe Damon Harrison's back with the Patriots. I cannot believe that there are two Ronald Learys somehow. It's a very amateur operation going on here. Clearly. I mean, this only took 2 months to set up. The first one took a month. And then this one took 2 months of like constant effort after that. And big thank you to everyone who helped me with the draft class. But I had to handle a lot of these by myself, which obviously is my channel. Like I should, but it takes a long time to make these draft classes and set everything up. So sometimes things slip through the cracks, but obviously I don't mean for that to happen. As the Titans pick a number 1 overall and get Kyler Murray. Lions at number 2 go with Nick Bosa. Eagles get Quinnen Williams. Remember, he was a top 5 pick. He's good too. Cleveland Ferrell to the Packers. Texans get Devin White. Not too bad there. The Browns get Daniel Jones. Bad teams stay bad. Josh Allen of the Patriots. Hey, the Browns are pretty good recently. I know. I'm just joking. Seahawks get Ed Oliver. Christian Wilkins to the Niners. He was a top pick, dude. The Dolphins took him. Hasn't been great. Brian Burns to the Chargers, and that's probably the last one we'll see of the top 10. DK Metcalf goes to the Jaguars. They got a pretty good team. Scary Terry teams up with Kyler Murray. Goes to the Titans. What else here? Josh Jacobs to the Ravens. AJ Brown to the Washington football team. Trading places with Scary Terry. Some would probably like that. Some wouldn't. I think Titans fans think AJ Brown's better, and I think Washington football fans think that Terry McLaurin is better. What do I think? Well, anytime anyone gives an opinion online, it can only be met with one answer, which is hate, obviously. So I'll leave that to myself. No, I won't. Terry's better. But let's see here. Montez Sweat to the Colts. Debo to the Raiders. The new best receiver this draft class because of this year only, right? So that works. Sean Murphy Bunting to the Steelers. Eric McCoy goes to the Seahawks. Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, back-to-back running backs. Bengals and Bears. David Montgomery, of course, on the Bears in real life. Damian Harris to the Niners. They would love that. They just draft running backs. It's what they do. Max Crosby could get a boost after this season, by the way. He's pretty good. Packers won the division. Steelers have the 1 seed. Ooh, Eagles on the other side. Man, you hate to see, unless you don't like the Giants, but if you do like the Giants and you care about video game production, you hate to see how awful the Giants have been. But that makes sense. Let's see here. NFL. Aaron Rodgers led the league in yards, had 36 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. It's quite a good year. Patrick Mahomes went off in year 2. Very good numbers. Lamar Jackson did too. Matt Moore killing it with the Texans. Huh? Matt Barkley killing it. Oh my goodness. Jimmy G putting up very Kirk Cousins numbers. RG3, Robert Griffin III. Up there in terms of yard. Brock Osweiler with the Broncos. Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's poetic. Back to Denver. Joe Mixon leads the league in yards, but look who it is. Kareem Hunt. Amazing season. 26 touchdowns. Just leaving everybody in the dust. Kicking their butts. But also, Adrian Peterson getting a little bit more carries this year. 19 touchdowns. Zeke, Stephen Ridley. I mean, as you can see with the running backs, like, they actually have progression. Whereas if they're below a 90 overall, they're literally terrible. But if they're better than a 90 overall, they start to get real good. But as you can see, Stephen Ridley, lower than a 90, 3.7 yards per carry. He's not going to be that good. Devontae Freeman, let's see. 85 overall. Where do you think that's pretty good? Nope. Not in simulation, it's not. As Robert Woods leads the league in yards. Percy Harvin, Julian Edelman up there. Anthony Miller. Zaire Hannon, okay. Julian Edelman had 15 touchdowns. Anthony Miller, I don't know what's crazier. Honestly, Kenny Stills? Dude, this top list is crazy. Deshaun Hamilton. The Penn State guy stays in state. Marius Thomas. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. About that craziness. 20 sacks for Stephon Tuitt and Aaron Donald. Fletcher Cox in there as well. Cameron Jordan, Darrell Washington, 19 sacks. JPP, Cam Hayward going off. I mean, we have multiple guys from the same team putting up crazy numbers. And then Minka with 6 picks. So Eagles and Steelers is your Super Bowl matchup here. We are with the Eagles just because we've been the Steelers already. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. And it's funny because in the last resum I did, which was 2010 to 2021, Russell Wilson was actually drafted by the Steelers this time. He is on the opposite team. He's still in Pennsylvania. This is the battle for Pennsylvania, Eagles, Steelers, and he has a lot of help. He's got Alvin Kamara and Ryan Ramczyk from the Saints. He's got Mike Evans from the Bucks. It's a pretty good offense already. Jared Cook, former Saint. A lot of Saints in here. Marvin Jones is not a former Saint. Matt Slauson, Brandon Albert, Lamont Gaillard in there as well. And then defensively, Manti Te'o, I believe, is a former Saint. Who is this? Sergio Elam. Don't know him. I assume this is Deion Jones. It is. Not bad. And then is this Marcus Smith? This was actually a draft pick by the Eagles. He was a huge bust. But he goes back. They also have Derwin James and Ndamukong Suh, Matt Ioannidis, Everson Griffin, Logan Ryan, Richard Sherman, AJ Boye. What a secondary. Dante Jackson as well. Quinnen Williams, Grover Stewart, Trent Murphy starting for some reason. This is an incredible team. Not a surprise to see them in the Super Bowl. They are very, very, very good. And we know all about the Steelers team. They drafted Big Ben. They have Patrick Willis. They have Khalil Mack. They have Fletcher Cox. They have Demaryius Thomas. It's a really good Steelers team. Steelers up first, and they are up 14-0. Eagles get their first points on the board and now make it a 4-point game. Coming to the tail end of the second quarter, now into the second half. Eagles take the lead 17-14. Now 24-14. The Steelers offense has completely shut down. They need to get things going. Let's go ahead and jump in, watch the end of the game. The Eagles have the football. The Steelers and this steel curtain need to stop badly. They have the playmakers to do it, but will they actually be able to? Need a huge stop. 1 first down from Philly, and it's an Eagles Super Bowl. And the Lombardi Trophy is going back to Philadelphia and not west to Pittsburgh. Hand off, and that's space. That's a first down, and that could be the Super Bowl. Timeout, Pittsburgh, but I don't think it's going to matter. Kamara killing it. Philly in victory formation. Despite a run there on second down, Patrick Willis brought down Kamara. But it's going to be one final kneel down from Russell Wilson, and the Eagles will be Super Bowl champions. Now, I think they actually did win the Super Bowl in real life. Is this 2018? It's been a little while since I've recorded this. It just takes so long. I try to do it in chunks to make it a little bit easier. But I think this is 2018 when the Eagles beat the Patriots. Am I right about that? It's around then. Close enough. So that was 2039, which equals 2019. Aaron Rodgers won another MVP. Cam Jordan, Defensive Player of the Year. And Scary Terry and Rashawn Gary were your Rookies of the Year. Free agency recap. Curtis Lofton still in the league. Dominique Easley was so good at Florida. Injuries, I think torn ACL really hurt him. Chris Jones to Tennessee. Calvin now signing with the Bengals. Calvin Johnson's had a very, very good career so far. Of course, winning multiple Super Bowls. It's a very different story to what actually happened for Calvin in real life. You know, you had a guy who was the best player on a very bad team for his entire career. One of the best players in the league, one of the best receivers of all time. Never even got close to a Super Bowl. And now, Calvin has multiple Super Bowl wins with the Bears, no less. Same team, or same division, excuse me, different team. And is now going to go to the Bengals. I mean, he didn't dominate the way he did in real life. I mean, you see multiple seasons of about the same amount of yards. 1,073, 1,073, 1,074. Never had double-digit touchdowns. Maybe won't be a Hall of Famer. Did make the Pro Bowl twice. And does have, I believe, 4 Super Bowls. So what would you rather have? Be remembered as one of the all-time greats of your position, be one of the best in the league during your time there, or be a pretty good receiver, 2-time Pro Bowler, but be a 4-time Super Bowl champion? It just depends. Are you more team-oriented, or do you want your own gain? As LaShawn McCoy giving off major Barry Sanders vibes here, signing with the Lions. He kind of looks like Barry Sanders coming out of Oklahoma State as well. The Hitman. Harrison Smith to the Saints. Richard Sherman signs with the Bucks. I mean, that seems familiar. Calais Campbell to the Lions. I feel like that makes sense to me, even though it didn't end up happening. Brian Cushing to the Rams. Sue to the Colts. Kenny Clark to Seattle. Dan Bailey to the new Chiefs. Kobe Fleener to the Rams, who ended up being pretty good. Kenny Stills finds his way to New Orleans. Of course, played for them in real life. DRC to the Bucks. This Ronald Leary to the Lions. Marvin Jones, who played on the Bengals for a while, is going to the Bengals. Where's some other ones that actually happen in real life? Jalen Smith to the Bucks. Jake Long to the Rams. I'm looking for some that fit. I'm not really seeing any. Was Clint Bowling on the Jets for a year? Might have been. Really only know him with the Bengals, though. Boy to the Ravens feels right, but never happened. Look at CJ2K, by the way, signing with the Vikings. Never had 2,000 yards in this. Hey, there's one. Sterling Shepard signs with the Giants. First drafted by the Giants out of Oklahoma in second round pick in 2016. Could be 2017. I think it's 2016, though. Doesn't really matter, as we'll get to the final draft. Chase Young. Some really good players in this draft. Justin Jefferson, maybe the best one right now, but we will see how 2020 goes. Shepard was 2016, by the way, and the Lions at number 1 overall go with Chase Young out of Ohio State. Certainly makes sense to be a good fit for them. Joe Burrow, who went number 1 overall in real life, goes to the Colts. The Pats get Jeff Okudah. Not really a great pickup there by the Patriots. The Bears get Derek Brown, who's actually quite good. The Saints go with Andrew Thomas, looking a bit lighter than I remember. Current Giant. The Bengals get Tua Tagovailoa. So they got Joe Burrow in real life to get another quarterback here. The Panthers end up with Justin Herbert. Not bad value at number 7, knowing how good Justin Herbert has been. The Giants at 8 go with Jerry Jeudy. The Titans at 9 take Javon Kinlaw. And the Dolphins at 10 go with C.D. Lamb. And we'll see how the rest of the draft shakes out. Robert Hunt also looks a little bit lighter than I remember, but let's go ahead and see. Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. The Vikings got Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, again, not looking quite like I remember him looking, but at least the complexion is right. They don't really have like the short dreads as an option in Madden with the like player faces, or even if you don't consider them short dreads, like braids or whatever. I'm not really sure exactly. But Tristan Wirfs goes to the Bucks. That's happened. That happened in real life. So back-to-back correct picks. J.K. Dobbins stays in state, goes to the Browns. Cam Akers to the Seahawks. Claypool to the Titans. Jonathan Taylor goes to the Saints. Laviska Shenault looks a bit lighter. I mean, who else? Chase Claypool obviously doesn't look quite like he looks. You're going to have to bear with me here. Jerry Jeudy, you saw Derek Brown to the Bears. Mekhi Becton to the Raiders. CJ Henderson, Jalen Johnson to the Dolphins. T. Higgins has played really, really well. And guess what? He gets to team up with Joe Burrow in Indianapolis. Mike Pittman, not Michael, obviously. Michael Pittman goes to the Steelers. DeAndre Swift cards. Brandon Ayuk to Washington football team. Isaiah Simmons to the Ravens. He fell pretty big to 17. AJ Terrell to Seattle. That feels like a good fit for them. Ooh, Giants got Antoine Winfield Jr. in the second round. These overalls are kind of weird, but I'm liking the draft. Julian Blackmon. I guess you can't have Blackmon in there. Man, Giants actually cleaned up. The Giants did really, really well. They got Jerry Jeudy, Antoine Winfield Jr., Julian Blackmon, and Netani Muti. And Henry Ruggs, I made real crap in this, but they got him too. Man, really, really crappy what he did. There's really no nice way to say that. Just completely senseless act. Like, I know I've made jokes about so many different things, but and I've said this in videos before, I just really don't feel like that's in good taste to joke about. I don't really particularly find those jokes funny, so we're gonna go ahead and just ignore that. Say it's terrible. I'll use this as a platform to say, hey, if you're drinking, it's a lot cheaper to get an Uber than afford to take somebody else's life, or, you know, post bail or post bond or pay bail, whatever you want to say, which are different things, by the way. But, you know, whatever you want to say, it's a way better decision to get an Uber, get a Lyft, get your friend to drive, be a designated drinker, or designated driver, designated drinker. You can have some of those too, just don't drive. Ooh, Giants won the division too. Man, they did not come close to that in 2020. It's been tough being a Giants fan, man. Bucks grabbed the 1 seed. Do they even do that in real life? I know they won the Super Bowl that year. I don't think they did. Who had the 1 seed in 2020? The Packers, maybe? Yeah, it was the Packers. Chiefs had it on the other side, and they did make the playoffs. They're now the Blues. So they had the 7 seed, not the 1 seed. Steelers grabbed the 1 seed. Broncos, Dolphins in. Jets, Ravens in. And then we have a Giants, Cowboys, Vikings cards, which is a pretty good game this year, by the way. And then Niners, Bears. I just saw the numbers, and Lamar Jackson's going to win MVP, which he did in 2019, not 2020. Incredible numbers. It's cool that he went to the Ravens, by the way. I think we said that, but that's pretty awesome, even if he's wearing number 3. And he's going to win an MVP like he did in real life, but not this year. Matt Ryan still playing well. Jimmy G playing impossibly well. Patrick Mahomes with the Washington football team, putting up some pretty good numbers if you can read, I guess. You know what numbers are. They're pretty good ones. Deshaun Kaiser, no way. Geno Smith, what's happening? It's all going crazy. Rushing, Todd Gurley, no arthritis. Leads the league in yards by a lot. Touchdown seems like by a lot. Joe Mixon second. Amir Abdullah, Fear Amir, up there for touchdowns. Lamar Miller. What's happening? What's happening here? Noshan Moreno continues his very good NFL career. Didn't really happen in real life. Receiving, Jamison Crowder has led the league in, I believe, catches, yards. Cooper Kupp with the Ravens, right behind him, though. Sammy Watkins actually had 111 catches. I thought it was 101 when I looked quickly. 111 catches for 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. Mohamed Sanu killed it. Brandon Cooks, Demaryius Thomas, Marquise Goodwin's up there. Some craziness going on. Touchdowns, Miguel Vega. Again, this guy up here, get out of here. 80 overall, 17 touchdowns on 69 catches. Nice. Demaryius Thomas, good to see him playing awesome. John Brown, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Hamilton. Just swap him with Juju and they would have been on their actual teams. Michael Thomas we saw. And then defensively, Brian Cushing and Kendall Beckwith. Jesus. 23.5 sacks for Aaron Donald. He's finally going to win a Defensive Player of the Year, probably. K1 Short up there. Look at all the interior defensive linemen. This is really too. Jason Jones continues to dominate with Khalil Mack. The sack attack of the yellow and black. Like that. Darius Slay, 8 picks. Big play Slay. No fly zone in Denver. Demario Davis. Dale Buchanan. Alec Ogletree. Bobby Wagner up there. Yeah, this league is craziness at this point. Wow, and the Super Bowl is the Battle of Florida. The Jags do not count as being an NFL team in that state. It's going to be Dolphins Bucks. Aaron Rodgers could win another one, or the Dolphins could get their first Super Bowl since 1973, I want to say. Yep, 1973. Zach Taylor's their head coach. Of course, you know him with the Bengals, maybe. And nowhere else. Unless he was, where's Zach Taylor prior to that? I know he wasn't head coach or anything ever. Yeah, Rams quarterback coach, assistant wide receivers coach before that. But Dolphins, Bucks. Can the Dolphins upset what is clearly a very good 89 overall Bucks team led by Aaron Rodgers with EJ Manuel, Amir Abdullah, DeMarco Murray, even Raquel Armstead in here. Derek Watt, I want to say. This is a horrible team. Marquise Goodwin, Chris Godwin, Rod God, CD Lamb. The O-line's not too bad. It's nice to see Cordy Glenn developing. John Feliciano, Matt Skura, Luis Vasquez, Jonah Williams, all looking nice. Dallas Goedert. Maybe the defense is amazing. What do we even have here? We have Telvin Smith, who it turns out is like a pedophile. Pretty bad. This is Malcolm Smith, former Super Bowl MVP Malcolm Smith. Hey, this is a good time for you to be MVP again. Romeo Aquara, Darren Lee. What is this team, dude? Taco Charlton. It's all busts. Good D-line, though. Marcel Darius. He's not really a bust. He was pretty good, but was never, like, great. Vita Vea, Zadarius Smith is assuming who that is. Jason Verrett, kind of a bust because he could never stay healthy, but was great when he was on the field, so that one's tough. Is this Jalen Johnson? Yeah. I think we saw him earlier. Tavon Young, I'm going to assume. Safeties, brutally weird. I don't know. This is not that good of a team compared to the Bucks. This is the final game of the video. We'll see if the Dolphins can magically upset Aaron Rodgers, JPP, Cam Hayward, and we'll see. See JPP as reinforcement as a superstar X Factor. Is that what they call the fake fingers he got after he blew off his actual ones? If the Dolphins win, EJ Manuel is officially better than Aaron Rodgers all the time. That's how it works. One game decides who's better. And I know what you're thinking, Bengal. You're like, it's a team sport. 53 guys on each team. It's not just down to the quarterback. That's where you're wrong. No, that's a fair point. The Dolphins are getting murdered, by the way, though. It's not close. It's 35-10, and they didn't even get consolation points at the end. That is the game. Not the video yet. We're going to do a follow-up. But Aaron Rodgers has won another Super Bowl here with the Bucks. See Deron Harmon quite happy about it. Very interesting video from the first resim. A lot of different crazy things happened. It's cool to see Aaron Rodgers dominate. Obviously one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Doesn't really have that big Super Bowl resume, only winning one. But clearly amazing. Like, Dan Marino is no worse of a quarterback because his team could never win the big game. He is still amazing all time, right? Way ahead of his time as a passer. But it is nice when you see that great talent accomplish those great team goals, especially at quarterback, because it is the most important position. They do affect the game the most, even if they can't, be the only guy that contributes to a win, they still do contribute the most. 2040, which is the 2020 season recap, which pretty much takes us to the season we are in real life. Lamar Jackson wins MVP. Todd Gurley, Offensive Player of the Year. There's Aaron Donald's Defensive Player of the Year. Justin Herbert is your Offensive Rookie of the Year. Darryl Bryant, who is that supposed to be? It's not a real guy. I'm confused. But let's check out the all-time stats to kind of put a wrap on this. Aaron Rodgers is your all-time leader in passing yards up to this point. Drew Brees right there. Chargers Drew Brees does actually appear twice on this list. Carson Palmer, Andrew Walter, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Big Ben. Very interesting. Passing touchdowns is going to be a very similar list. Lions, Phillip Rivers right up there. No Eli is a thing. Edgerrin James, number 1 all-time. Clinton Portis right behind him. Adrian Peterson, there's Emmett, LaDainian Tomlinson. Walter Payton, Marshawn Lynch, MJD, Willis McGahee, and Frank Gore does end up in the Jets. 16,000 yards exactly. Rushing touchdowns, very similar list, but Clinton Portis has 277. The most all-time by a lot. Deuce McAllister right up there. Ricky. Receiving yards, Marvin Harrison has the record by a ton. 31, nearly 32,000 receiving yards all time. His son, actually, by the way, on the final day of recording this, Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 touchdowns today in one of the most unbelievable Rose Bowl games I've ever seen. One of the craziest college football games I've ever seen as well. It's in the top 10 probably. Not the best Rose Bowl ever. I think I still have Texas USC. I'm a Texas fan, but it was a national championship. Amazing game. Probably my second best game of all time, or second in college football history. Like, watching Boise State upset Oklahoma, I think that's the craziest game ever. With the back and forth, and you thought one team was going to win, and then they come back, and then Boise State has the hook and ladder leading up to the Statue of Liberty to go for 2 and win it. Crazy stuff. Larry Fitz, Andre Johnson, top 5 all-time with football team. Some crazy. Jericho Cotchery, top 10 all-time is wild. Receiving touchdowns, again, probably a very similar list. Catches, very similar. For sacks, T-Sizzle has the most ever. I thought it was going to be Jason Taylor. Terrell Suggs has 245. Jason Taylor, Mario Williams, Albert Haynesworth. Tommy Harris, 2 defensive tackles in the top 5. DeMarcus Ware, Aaron Campman, all ahead of Bruce Smith all time, who was number 1 in real life. Reggie White. Anyone get on the interceptions list? Charles Woodson's there in real life. I don't think anyone's in there. I mean, maybe, I think that's real life Ed Reed, so I don't think that is affected. So that is going to do it for the career stats. I feel like that's pretty much everything that there is to show. Super fun video. I love doing these. I like rewriting history. Might do some more of these. Pop your ideas down in the comment section below that you want to see, and I'll try to see if I can do some of them if you want to do that. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Insane, I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah, promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, yeah. Papa turn, taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.